the Eagles for ineligible receiver, and the Cowboys declined it, so they'll take the ball at the 20-yard line. Now, you might notice number 26, Preston Pearson, is in there at halfback for the Cowboys. Tom Landry said before the game that Tony Dorsett missed yesterday's practice without notifying the coaches. He said that Dorsett may see action but will not start, apparently due to a disciplinary problem here. So it is 1st and 10 for the Cowboys at their own 20-yard line. Roger Staubach comes out throwing near sideline, dropped by Tony Hill. Hill at the 30-yard line, couldn't believe it, slipped right out of his hands.
I tell you, those are the kind you've got to catch. The ball was perfect right there. There's no question about it. Staubach just came out throwing right away.
There's the receiving crew of the Cowboys, certainly among the best in the National Football League. A lot of talent there. The Dallas offensive line, Jim Cooper, who played his college football at Temple, is starting his second straight game for John Fitzgerald, the regular who's out with an injury. And as we said, Robert Newhouse and Preston Pearson are the starting running backs. Probably a lot of the fans in the stands are mystified right now why Tony Dorsett isn't in there. But that's the reason. We just gave it to you. That's Newhouse. There's a flag down as Newhouse breaks tackle after tackle and clears it out to the 33-yard line for a pickup of 13 yards. But an infraction on the play apparently will wipe it out, and it's going to be holding.
Well, I'd say that's a break for Philadelphia right away. Newhouse ran right out of his shoe that time. Great running by the little man. I'll tell you, here's one of the most underrated football players around. This kid can do everything. He blocks well, he catches that ball, and he's a real competitor.
Number 61 of the offense, holding.
That's the center, Jim Cooper. Caught holding. Philadelphia defensive lineman. The Eagle linebackers. Of course, they play that 3-4 in the Philadelphia defensive secondary. For those of you who joined us late, because of a technical problem, there's no scores. Preston Pearson takes the handoff. The Eagles took the opening kickoff, picked up a couple of first downs, and they had to punt from midfield. That's where we are right now. Cowboys after a holding penalty in a 3rd down and long yardage situation.
And we got the little man, Mr. Versatility, coming in there. John Scar come in. I had a chance to talk with him on the bus on the way out, and he wants to make sure his dad knows he's going to play a good game today.
John Shira, right?
John Shira.
Plays everywhere.
He plays.
Very good word from the Cowboys now that Harvey Martin, who saw action on the first series of downs, will not be back. That knee apparently didn't work out. From the shotgun, Preston Pearson taking the inside pitch from Roger Staubach up to the 21. And again, we got another flag on the play. Cowboys last week against St. Louis had 109 yards in penalties, and they've been stopping themselves more than anything else. This one, however, will be an offside against Philadelphia. So Martin tested that leg injury on the first series of downs, the NFL's Defensive Player of the Year, and probably will not be back.
Here again, just that little shuttle pass right to the inside of Preston Pearson. Breaks to the outside. This kid does it all. He gives you 110% all the time. I had a chance to play with him in Baltimore for a number of years.
Was offside on the defense.
Carl Hairston, the defensive lineman of the Philadelphia Eagles, penalized on the offside. That'll make it 3rd down, and the Cowboys still need 12 for the first down. They're trying to recover from the effects of that holding penalty earlier, but they've been hurting themselves with penalties like that. They've been sputtering a bit, trying to get it all back. From the shotgun, again Staubach on 3rd down and long. Looking over the middle. Tipped in. Scott Laidlaw, number 35, tried to hold it and couldn't. Well, that's a catchable ball, I thought.
Boy, I'll tell you one thing. Herman Edwards came right up at the end there and just must have got in his eyesight because that ball was right in his hands again. Rogers throwing the ball very well. He picked it right in the middle of it and had to throw it perfectly.
So the Cowboys with 2 drop passes and a holding penalty on their first series. Danny White is the Dallas punter, and he's a good one. The deep man is John Shira, the former UCLA star. First two-way player in the NFL since the days of Chuck McNarick. Beautiful high kick. Shira at the 35. Looking for some running room. Gets to the 40, and now he's in trouble. Buried under the white shirts, just shy of the 40-yard line. Leading the charge that time was Scott Laidlaw, number 35, who dropped the pass a moment ago. Timeout with 9:57 left to play in the opening period. There is no score. Dallas nothing, and the Eagles. 48 yards on the punt by Danny White, and the Eagles have a first down. Their second offensive possession of the afternoon at their own 39-yard line. 9:57 left to play in the opening period. No score here at Texas Stadium. Carmichael to the left side. Ken Payne is flanked off to the right. Montgomery and Hogan to the setbacks as Jaworski fakes to Hogan. Back to throw, and he's going long for Payne, and Payne had it in his hands and couldn't hold it. Benny Barnes, number 31, was back there, but the ball was well thrown, and Payne has a word with the official.
I'll tell you, that was a perfect throw.
He put it right in there, didn't he?
He really laid it in here. Again, he sets it up. This is to me anyway, this is what you got to do. Throw on first down against these guys. It's just a takeoff pattern. Benny Payne has him beat. It's right in his hands. You don't. That's 3 drop balls so far. I hope somebody starts catching them.
But really, you know. Second and 10. I'll get back to this in a minute. I got a thought I want to drop out of here.
Right.
2nd and 10 for the Eagles at their own 39-yard line. Again, Payne to the right side, Carmichael to the left. Carmichael's got about 9 inches on Aaron Kyle, the defensive back he's working against. The handoff is to Mike Hogan, and Hogan gets out to the 41-yard line, maybe a yard. Now, I was going to say, I mean, after all, anybody can beat the Dallas Cowboys. If you can play quarterback against the Cowboys, like you did in the playoff bowl and beat them, anybody can beat them, right?
That's what they said anyway. Yeah. In that runner-up game, I think that was the first game that the Cowboys had ever been in any competition in the postseason games, and they came down there with good old Dandy Don. And Unitas Nquazo was hurt, and I had to fill in, and we sort of crushed him 35-3 that day, Frank.
Obviously, you scared him to death. 3rd down and 8. Eagles now at their 41-yard line. Trying to get going here against the Dallas defense. Jaworski backpedaling to throw, rushes on. He's in trouble, and Too Tall Jones caves in on him at the 35-yard line. First sack of the afternoon by either side, and the Eagles will be punting. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League. It's intended for the private use of our audience, and any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Dallas Cowboys and the National Football League is prohibited. So Jaworski comes to the sidelines to talk it over with Dick Vermeil, and Michelle is in there to do the punting. Got a reasonable punt off, his first one of the afternoon. Picked up from the Dolphins. This, of course, has been a weak spot for Philadelphia. Not much on this one. Bounces at the 35-yard line. Butch Johnson going to watch it, and it hits an Eagle at about the 37. So Dallas will put it in play from there. We got word today, by the way, from the Washington Giant game that Lamar Parrish, the fine defensive back of the Redskins, suffered a broken arm in that game, and he is out for the season. That's going to hurt him.
That's got to hurt him badly. There's an update on that score, though. The score is now 10-6 right now.
No score here. Timeout at Texas Stadium. We've got 8 minutes and 39 seconds left to play in the opening period, and Michelle got only 28 yards on the punt, so the Eagles continue to have problems in that department. Cowboys have a first down at their 36.
They're just happy to get the punt off right now after last week.
Quick pitch to Robert Newhouse behind Pat Donovan's block. Newhouse gets out across the 40-yard line to the 41 for a pickup of 5. And again, for those of you who joined us late, we understand there are a few folks in Philadelphia that did. Tony Dorsett is not starting in this ball game, and the word we got is that he missed yesterday's practice without notifying the coaches, and Landry said that Dorsett may see action during the game but would not start, and Preston Pearson is filling in. Now, Dorsett last year in this game at Texas Stadium gained 206 yards rushing against the Eagles, his best outing of the year, including an 84-yarder. 2nd and 5 for the Cowboys at their 41. Newhouse taking the handoff. You know, I got a hunch on the Dorsett thing that Landry is going to see if he can do it without him, and we may not see him unless the Cowboys are already in trouble.
Well, you know, he is a disciplinarian, and I think it's right. If a guy misses practice with no reason at all, doesn't it, you know, even if it's an emergency, he can at least call the coaches, and the coaches are very understanding. But if you just walk out and don't report in, some type of action has to be taken. You know, you have to call it the way you see it, and I think Landry's doing the right thing.
Unofficially, we heard that Dorsett told Landry that he overslept, but we get that about third hand. 3rd down and 3 for the Cowboys at their 43-yard line.
For a whole day, you overslept?
Overslept covers a lot of things. Here's Staubach on 3rd and 3, back to throw. Good protection. Now he's in trouble way behind the line, back at the 25. Gets it away, throws it out of bounds.
Good pressure by the Philadelphia defense. Stop him on that 3rd down situation and forces him into a punt.
So the Eagles defense has held the Cowboys for the second time and forced Dallas into a punting situation. But what's happening here in the first period is that Dallas, with each succeeding punt, is getting better field position. You notice that?
You're right.
They started back at the 20, and now they're almost to midfield with a good punt here from White. They could drive the Eagles back inside their 20. There's Shura, the free safety, standing on the 20-yard line. John, of course, spent a couple of years in the Canadian League before coming to the Eagles. And, of course, Dick Vermeil wanted him very badly. They had to work out a deal with Tampa to get his draft rights. Nice high kick.
Boy, did he boom that one.
Fair catch. Shura over the shoulder catch at the 8-yard line. Beautiful kick. And I imagine some people might question why he caught that ball at all.
Well, anytime inside the 10-yard line, you wonder why. Try to take the chance, but they had the guys down there to coverage for the thing. It was a 48-yard punt, a great field position.
Here's the update on the Giants-Washington game. Look at this one.
Sartic went in for a short run for another touchdown, 17-6.
No score in our game. 1st and 10 Eagles, who are backed up to their 9-yard line. Montgomery and Hogan behind Jaworski, and Montgomery takes it out to the 15 or thereabouts. This is homecoming of sorts for Wilbert Montgomery. You know, he played his college football at what used to be Abilene Christian College, now Abilene Christian University. The fan reaction is to the scoreboard showing the update on the Redskins-Giant game we gave you just a moment ago. But Montgomery, you know, was only a 6th-round draft choice. He had some injury problems his junior and senior years. Led the NFC in kickoff returns last year. Started the last game of the season, and they have been able to stop him since. 2nd and 5. Eagles at their 14. Ron Jaworski to Carmichael, and Carmichael hangs on, takes the punishment from Aaron Kyle, the defensive back, and picks up the first down at the 25.
And that also keeps his string going right there. That's number 88. It's just a down-in pattern. Watch Jaworski set up with a short setup. 1, 2, 3. Boom. Ball drilled in there. Good defensive play by the back also, right on top of Carmichael. But he's a big target, Frank.
All-time NFL record for consecutive games catching passes, 105 by Dan Abramowitz of the Saints. And, of course, Carmichael could catch that next year if he keeps it up. He's moving up on Don Hudson, who is 95, and Lance Allworth, who is 96. 1st and 10, Eagles at their 25-yard line. Jaworski gives it to Montgomery. Montgomery in trouble, trying to stretch it out wide. And he is gang tackled at the 30-yard line. Looked like he might be dropped for a loss, but he picked up about 3. Henderson, number 56, and Barnes, number 31 on the stop.
You know, Frank, on this, you can just watch the movement of Montgomery as he comes across. And I'm really sort of disappointed today about Dorsett not being able to play, because I feel that these are the 2 of the premier backs in the National Football League today. And these guys both run very similar, although I think Montgomery's a little bit more of a power runner than Dorsett is. But the guy moved very well along the line, picked up almost about 6 yards on the play.
On 2nd and 4, the pitch to Montgomery. Putting his nose down that time, trying to pick up the first down. He looks to be just a little bit short at the 34-yard line. Bob Brunig, the middle linebacker, and Larry Bethea, number 76, the Cowboys' number 1 draft choice, rookie defensive end, who's filling in for All-Pro Harvey Martin, making the stop.
Again, it gets you a chance right here to watch Brunig come straight across here, playing the play, comes back in there, and really sticks Montgomery.
This would be close enough for measurement. They'll have to bring the chains in from across the way. 5 minutes, 19 seconds remaining in the opening period. Still no score. Cowboys nothing, and the Philadelphia Eagles nothing. And this is shaping up to be a bigger and bigger game now with the Giants out in front of the Redskins. They're short by about a foot, maybe less. So, into the backfield comes John Shura, Mr. All-Everything.
He's going to be a quarterback. This kid he's got a great attitude. I'll tell you, he's a real competitor and probably one of the most versatile athletes on this team. They've also got the other tight end, Osborne, in there on the short yardage situation. So he does, last week I watched him, and he does the option right down the line of scrimmage. He either pitches it out, keeps it, and cuts up there for the short yardage play.
Guy's unbelievable. You know, he returns the punts, he holds on extra point placements, plays safety, and a short yardage situation. He's the quarterback, which he is right now. 3rd down and a foot for the Eagles at their own 34-yard line. Basic power play. Nothing very fancy there. Cleveland Franklin, who's also has a homecoming of sorts here. He played his college football at Baylor over the left side and picking up more than enough.
Here it is right here. It's just a big play right there. The block by the halfback going to the outside, and just good hard running and a blowout by the offensive lineman.
So it's 1st and 10 for the Philadelphia Eagles, their third first down of the afternoon at their 37-yard line. Kenny Payne is wide to the right side, and Carmichael set in the slot inside of Payne down at the bottom of your screen. The shift from the eye to the split backfield. And Jaworski, 2 steps back, looking over the middle, and has his man Montgomery, and Bob Brunick pins him at about the 45, but not before he picks up 6 or 7. The Bears and the Buccaneers are battling it out down in Florida.
I'll tell you, Doug Williams, that young quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, got him out in front 13-10 in the second period.
Can he throw the ball?
He can throw that. He can throw it through the wall.
He doesn't throw it higher than about 5 yards. Everything is on a straight line. He'll throw a 50-yard pass, 5 yards above the line of scrimmage.
And I did an interview with him a couple of weeks ago when they beat Minnesota, and the kid is really a nice boy.
2nd down and 3. Eagles from their 40-yard line. Jaworski to Montgomery. Jethro Pugh's big number 75 on the top of that pile, pushing him back. Might be a little bit short of the first down, but they do have a 3rd down coming up. Jaworski is now 3 out of 5 in the passing department for 27 yards. He's been sacked once. And again, Shira comes in on the short yardage situation. Going to be 3rd down, and they'll need a yard.
You know, last week they had Carmichael flanked out to the outside, and he came down the line and threw a pass incomplete. But he does have the capabilities of also throwing that ball, Frank.
3rd and 1 as Dallas tries to dig in and stop Philadelphia. Eagles at their own 46. Shira hands to Montgomery. Almost caught behind the line, and he is stopped short of the first down at the 44-yard line. Cliff Harris, the all-pro safety, number 43, leading the charge for the Dallas Cowboys. They strung it out nice.
They sure did. This is why that's great defense, and this is why they win the Super Bowl. They string that ball all the way out to the outside, and the safety comes up and forces it and makes the tackle. Forces him into that punting situation.
Sun breaking through the clouds here at Texas Stadium as Michelle goes back to punt for the 3rd time. At least he's above his seasonal average. That's about all you can say.
You know, you just can't believe the pressure that's on this kid. Another great kick, though. Look at that.
That's a fine kick. Butch Johnson back at the 9, 10, 20. And Johnson is down at the 23. So a lot of sparring in the first half of play between these two clubs, neither with a serious scoring threat up until this point. We've got 2 minutes and 3 seconds remaining in the first period at Texas Stadium. Eagles nothing, and the Dallas Cowboys nothing.
And it is a gorgeous
1965, last time that Philadelphia won a football game in Dallas, Texas. CBS Sports Spectacular upcoming, Phoenix 150. That's going to be next Saturday. It'll be a shootout for the USAC National Championship. What have they got in the world's strongest men this
I'll
week?
tell you, the car lift. Let's see who's going to lift up the biggest car. These guys are something with the steel bar bend and the whole work.
1st and 10. Cowboys at their 23. Staubach with the fake to Pearson, back to throw, and protection in trouble. Staubach rolling around back at the 10, looking downfield, and finally he has to eat it and go out of bounds at about the line of scrimmage. Boy, that's a lot of work for no gain.
Boy, you're not kidding. The big man was over there to get him on the sideline. Again, you can see the pressure's being put on. First down situation, they fake the run, set up. He's got the time. He sets up good coverage by the defense of Philadelphia. He breaks the tackle right there, rolls back to the outside.
Sistrunk thought he had him.
He sure did. A good block, and Staubach is, this is what he's great for.
You got to give old Manny credit, though. He came back and made the tackle.
Good old man.
Missed him the first time. Just wait, and he'll come back.
You don't get too many shots twice in one guy in one play.
2nd down, let's call it 11 for the first down with the ball at the 23-yard line. Staubach again faking to Pearson. Sets up the screen, but can't throw it. Now he's got to eat it again. Down this time at the 17-yard line. So it'll be a loss of 6 on that play.
I'll tell you, this defense of the Eagles is really fired up today.
Well, obviously the screen wasn't there. He wouldn't have thrown it.
Heck, they're reading it right there. Drew Mahalik, who's coming off an injury, is putting the pressure on him from the outside there. And they come up with a sack. It's 3rd down, long yardage, and you're going to see the old shotgun, or whatever they call it.
Shotgun spread, you name it. Dennis Harrison, by the way, on the tackle. He had a big day against the Redskins, didn't he?
He sure did. Here's a guy that comes in on a passing situation and can really put the pressure on that quarterback. He's got great speed and great height.
Cowboys have a 3rd down 17 from their 17. Staubach retreating to the 5. Sideline throw over the head of the intended receiver, Drew Pearson.
That one was a little high. No way to get that one. But this time it's going to give the Eagles good field position for the first time, really.
A minute 16 left to play in the opening period. Staubach's had a pretty good year so far. He's at the 200 mark in 6 of his 7 games. Great 3rd down passer normally. Danny White. Look at that average today. 48 yards. Shira standing back on his 44. Snap is a little bit high. Almost got to him, but this one will bring rain. It is way up there. Shira made the catch, and waiting for him was Benny Barnes, number 31.
What a kick.
Barnes actually had to stop and wait for the ball to come down and wait for him to catch it so he could hit him. That punt was that high. Here's the NFL regional lineup next weekend. St. Louis, Philadelphia, San Francisco, Washington, Detroit, and Chicago. Giants in New Orleans and Tampa Bay, Green Bay.
Consult your local listings for the game and time in your area. All the action begins with the NFL Today with Brent Musburger, a good-looking Jane Kennedy, and Irv Cross.
51 yards on the punt.
And not a bad-looking Irv Cross either.
Not bad. 1st and 10 Eagles at their 31-yard line. No score late in the first period. Back to throw it goes Jaworski. Protection is good. Bullet over the middle. Almost intercepted by Thomas Henderson. He was looking for Payne at about the 50.
And boy, he had Montgomery out on a flat all by himself out there.
I think Henderson just gave himself a headache.
Again, you can see him right here. You see Montgomery going out on the left of your screen. Jaworski setting up, but he's wide open. The ball is thrown in there. And that's when you get mad at yourself.
You know where Jaworski has improved this year is that interception figure. You know, he had 21 last year. He's only got 4 this year.
4 this year. And the thing that's really interesting today is he's coming out, throwing on 1st down, which really holds that defense in there.
2nd and 10. Eagles at their 31-yard line. Carmichael to the left side. Payne to the right. Montgomery and Mike Hogan are the setbacks. Big rush that time. And he waited just a moment too long before trying to drop it off to Montgomery. That was Bethea, number 76. Cowboys' #1 draft pick out of Michigan State.
It was a quick screen right here with Jaworski setting up too shallow, and he really gets the pressure put on him. And you can see Montgomery out there waiting for the ball. He picks it up. That's smart football right there, picking that ball up because it could have been construed as a fumble.
Good thinking, Tom.
How do you like that, huh? You like that?
3rd down and 10.
Construed.
Construed. You've been listening to you-know who.
No.
Carmichael to the left side. Payne to the right. Jaworski may be checking off here at the line of scrimmage. Long count play this time. 30-second clock down to 2 seconds. Oh, he just did get it off. Big hole for Hogan. Lost the ball. Who's got it? Dallas recovered at the 46. Mark Washington, number 46 on the recovery, as I think Jaworski checked off at the line of scrimmage, and he checked off to a great play, whatever it was.
He sure did. Here it is right here. It's a quick trap up the middle. Hogan goes up there, and as he's almost up to the 1st down area right there, and a ball pops out. Philadelphia almost had it again, but Dallas comes up with a key fumble recovery, gives them great field position.
Well, that's what the Redskins did against the Eagles last week, and the Eagles benefited from. That's the first turnover of the game on either side. And I think the first time Dallas is in Philadelphia territory, I believe, in the afternoon. Ball is at the 46 of Philadelphia with 51 seconds left in the quarter. It's Newhouse on the handoff, and Newhouse plows forward to the 39-yard line. Pickup of 7.
You know, you're talking about Newhouse, and I had a chance to talk to Bill Berge about him prior to the game. In fact, I flew down from Philadelphia with the Eagles, and he said this guy has such a low base that no matter if you hit him, you can't knock him off his feet. He's got a low center of gravity. Here's Berge right here, right now. He takes on the block, slides across, and in. He is not going anyplace. A great block. He didn't like it either.
I don't think he did. 2nd down 2. Cowboys at the Eagle 39. The give is to Preston Pearson, trying to get outside. Got the 1st down and some change as he's run out of bounds at the 27. This man's made a great contribution to the Cowboys since being picked up from the Pittsburgh Steelers several years ago, and as you said, an old teammate of yours.
He's an old teammate of mine. He led the league in the kickoffs when he was with Baltimore. He breaks the outside. He's got the speed, and that ain't too bad for a basketball player, I'll tell you.
That's right. He never played football in college. John Sanders finally ran him out of bounds, but not before Dallas has a first down at the 27. You're talking about Newhouse. Dave Edwards, the old Cowboy linebacker, used to have the great line. He said tackling Newhouse is like trying to tackle a bowling ball. That's super. First and 10. Cowboys with the first serious scoring threat by either side. Pearson in motion. Newhouse stumbles as he takes the handoff and gets nothing at the line of scrimmage. Carl Hairston, number 78, in on the tackle for the Philadelphia Eagles, and time has run out in the opening period here at Texas Stadium. So that's it for quarter number 1. Key NFC battle between the Cowboys and the Eagles. We're at the end of the first quarter with the score: the Cowboys nothing, the Eagles nothing. Cowboys ball, second down. They need, well, let's call it 10 for the first down. A little bit less than 10 yards for the first down at the Eagle 27. As we start the second period of play, no score in the football game. Roger Staubach back to throw. Protection is excellent. Finally gets it away. Hits Newhouse at the 20. Newhouse to the 15. Robert Newhouse to the 10. He's at the 5 and down to the 4.
You say this kid can't do it all. There's an example, boy. He is all over the field. Made a great run after making a great catch.
He took a rap early in his career that he didn't have good hands, didn't catch the ball well.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Staubach can't find anybody. Finally finds Newhouse right there. He gets hit, breaks the tackle. Again, turns that speed on, picks up a block right there, and he keeps running. Look at, hit at the 10, and he keeps driving. He's down to the 4-yard line.
Randy Logan with the touchdown-saving tackle for the Philadelphia Eagles. It is first down, goal to go for the Dallas Cowboys. They're at the Eagle 4-yard line. Preston Pearson, Newhouse, the setbacks. Here's Staubach giving to Pearson, trying to get outside. Pearson is down to, well, call it the 2, maybe the 1. And there's the little man who is here, but yet he isn't. Tony Dorsett, who is not starting this game because he missed yesterday's practice without an excuse. He talked to Tom Landry before the game. Nobody could find him yesterday or last night, and nobody saw him until he showed up at the stadium early today. He sat down, had a talk with Landry, and Landry then came out and said that Preston Pearson would start. But that Dorsett may see some action. Second and goal to go, this time from the 2-yard line. Newhouse to the 1, and no more. A guy the Cowboys missing here right now is Doug Dennison, who went out with a knee injury for the season a couple of weeks ago, and he was their short yardage running back specialist. He was probably number 1 in that department, and Dorsett probably was number 2 in the short yardage situation, and neither are in there.
That's right. This is the time where you come up to the line of scrimmage and you get as close as you can, and then you try to go up over the top for it. This is, you know, listen, this defense of the Philadelphia Eagles is really a tough one. They've got the big front 4 in there right now. And I'll tell you, if they can hold them right here and get away with 3 points, that's a super effort.
Third and goal to go. Nose of the ball is just outside the 1-yard line of the Eagles. Staubach to Newhouse, and Newhouse is over. Touchdown.
Again on that play, the defense is probably thinking outside, and they do a quick trap right up the middle, and they get the touchdown on it. Again, you'll see it right here. It's the line of scrimmage. Just right up the middle, and you can see him. All he has to do is break that plane, and he's in there for 6.
Interesting note on, if you look at it again from the end zone angle, Newhouse fumble last week against the Cardinals. That's the only fumble he has had in 10 regular season games and more than 100 carries, extending back to last year.
That's not a bad record all by itself right there.
Waters will hold, and Septien, last week's hero, with the extra point try, which is good. Everything's in order, no flags. We have 12 minutes and 50 seconds left to play in the first half here at Texas Stadium, and the Dallas Cowboys lead the Eagles 7-0. Keep in mind now, this is the way the NFC East looks. If the Cowboys win and the Redskins lose against the Giants, of course, Dallas and Washington will be tied for first. If the Eagles win today and the Redskins lose, Why, the Eagles would be in that log jam at second place, just one game out. Beautiful high kick. Pedersen from the goal line, out to the 10, across the 20, hit at the 25, and a pretty solid hit put on him by Alois Blackwell, number 24.
He got nailed on that kickoff. Woo!
There's the book on the Dallas scoring drive, and of course, as you mentioned, the turnover is a big thing.
Turnover was the key to it right there. When they have that fumble, that gave them the excellent field position, Frank. And, you know, a great team is going to take advantage of mistakes, and those are the kind of mistakes you take advantage of, and they went down and got their 6, 7 points on it.
So Philadelphia going to try to get the offense cranked up now with a first down at their own 26-yard line.
Let's see if Jaworski comes out throwing on first down again. He has been.
Eagles have the edge in total yardage so far, 73-48 in the football game. So that turnover was indeed a major factor. Jaworski giving it to Montgomery, and Montgomery hit hard by Bob Brunig as he crossed the line of scrimmage. Montgomery, in his college days at Abilene Christian, in his freshman year, scored 37 touchdowns to break the collegiate record, which had been 29. When he broke it by a bunch. And he scored something like 76 touchdowns in his 4-year career, and he missed a good portion of his junior and senior years because of injuries.
I'll tell you, he started off this season right. He's up there right at the top of the league in both leagues. 687 yards rushing coming into this game. But
second and 9. Eagles at their 27-yard line. Long count play this time by Jaworski. The fake to Hogan. Nice fake. Jaworski back to throw. D.D. Lewis got his fingertips on it. It was intended for the tight end, Keith Krepley, number 84, in front of the Eagle bench.
That was a dangerous pass. He threw right back in there. Whew. That was almost picked off also.
Montgomery, by the way, has 7 carries for a total of 19 yards so far. And Hogan has outdistanced him with 5 carries for 30 yards. Jaworski is 3 out of 8, 27 yards total. 3rd and 9, Philadelphia. Eagles at their 27. That sun breaking through is going to make it a lot steamier here, as the humidity is high and rain is in the forecast for later in the day, but temperatures are well into the 80s, unseasonably warm, even for Dallas this late in October. Jaworski on 3rd and 9, passes tipped, and Betty Barnes almost intercepted. I don't know, might have been too tall. Got in there, got that big mid up.
Carmichael was wide open right in there, too. That ball was deflected. You can see the pressure's being put on Jaworski right here from the inside and the outside. Watch, Jaworski sets up, and just as he gets in there, you can see Carmichael hooking to the inside.
It was Cowboy linebacker Bob Brunig who got through there.
Again, Frank, this is going to be a key position, field position for the Dallas Cowboys.
Cowboys have a new punt returner. Tony Hill is standing back at the 35. Here's Michelle getting underway. Hill is an exciting punt returner from his 35 to the 40, looking for some running room, and he's going to go down right there. I don't know what happened to Butch Johnson, the regular who started the game, but Hill is the #1 backup and returned punts a good portion of last year when he played as a backup wide receiver. Timeout here in Dallas. We'll be back. Jets leading the Cardinals in the 3rd period, 20-10. Boy, that'd be 0-8, wouldn't it? What a long year that's getting to be for St. Louis. Our score, Cowboys 7, Eagles nothing. Dallas with a 1st and 10 at their own 40 as Preston Pearson takes the handoff. And Pearson, still skipping down the sideline, finally is run out of bounds in Philadelphia territory near the 45-yard line.
Again, Frank, watch how he glides when he gets to hold the ball. He gives the move to the inside that sets up the block for the fullback right there. He just moves so well when he runs with that ball. Keeps himself in bounds, finally gets knocked out.
Herman Edwards knocking him out of bounds, but not before Dallas picks up a first down, and the officials will mark it at the Eagle 43. And again, Tony Dorsett looking on. Up until this week, Tony was the top rusher in the NFL, had only 24 yards against the Cardinals last week, and Montgomery and a few others passed him by. And sitting out because he missed practice yesterday. Newhouse taking the handoff down to the 38-yard line. By the way, good friend of the Cowboys is looking in. We want to tell him hello. Andy Anderson, who's a former assistant public relations man for the Dallas Cowboys. He underwent abdominal surgery last week and is recuperating at Arlington Memorial Hospital, and all of his friends at Texas Stadium wish him well and wish him a very, very speedy recovery. And he's also the outdoor editor of the Dallas Morning News. Second down, 5. Dallas moving the ball nicely now from the Eagle 38-yard line. Started a little bit slow, but they found their niche now. Staubach pumps once, goes long. Tony Hill at the goal line, can't reach it.
And boy, if he'd have looked down the left sideline over there, Newhouse is wide open.
Hill went halfway up the tunnel, leading to the dressing room, because his momentum carried him deep into the end zone and out of the end zone.
Well, he went for the big play on that one, Frank.
Here's an update, another NFL score that I'm sure you'll be watching. It's a very big game, certainly, I think, for the Packers, who have to feel that they've got to perform well against Minnesota for people to really believe they're for real. Huh?
You're not kidding, but they're behind right now, 7-0. You know, I think good old Francis Tarkington up there must be putting his boys to work again.
Vikings coming here Thursday night to play the Cowboys. This will be a very short week for Dallas. They play 2 Thursday night games this year. 3rd and 5 from the shotgun. Staubach over the middle has the first down as he hits Preston Pearson, who carries to the 27-yard line. You talk about your do-it-all backs.
No.
He does it all with grace and style and finesse. That you just watch him move, and he's a great athlete.
I'll guarantee you one thing. You can watch him. Staubach setting up right here, right now. Berge is blitzing from the inside. They have a tackle game coming to the inside. And Preston just goes out there, finds that linebacker, and spins the other way, and he's wide open. Staubach picks him up, and they get another first down, keeps this drive going.
A little over 10 minutes left to play in the first half. Dallas leading 7-0 on Robert Newhouse's 1-yard touchdown dive set up by a fumble recovery. That's Tony Hill in motion. Handoff Preston Pearson. Flag is down.
Oh, I think we may have a holding penalty offside.
Illegal procedure is a preliminary indication.
Right.
Hill looked like he was a little confused in motion there at that time. I think they may pin it on him.
I don't think he was set long enough. As much as they jump around and try to, you know, just screw up the defense's thinking, and what defenses really do is they really key that tight end. Which side of that tight end line up on? And I was talking to some of the coaches prior to the ball game on the Eagles, and they said, you know, this is all decoration.
Red Cashin, the referee, with the call.
2 men moving at the snap on the offense.
No, they can't do that anymore, can you?
We're not up in Canada right now, anyway.
I'll never forget in the Dallas game I worked down in Houston a couple of years ago, too. The Cowboys took off in motion, 1 to each side. And I thought, boy, that's an unusual play. They called it back for that very same reason. 1st and 15 now. Dallas at the Eagle 33. Pearson takes the handoff, gets it inside the 30 to about the 28, and hit hard by Frank LeMaster, number 55, and Bill Berge, number 66.
Bill Berge has really been playing great football this year, and so has LeMaster. Their linebacker core is good, and they're using that 3-man front up there. And these linebackers can move very well laterally across the ball. And when you get the big rush by the front 3, and there's always someone coming, Frank. One of those linebackers coming from the inside or the outside, and that does put some pressure, and it also makes the Dallas Cowboys have to work all that much harder on that 3-man front.
2nd and 12. The Cowboys have Robert Steele, number 82, a rookie wide receiver, in the ball game for the first time. Something must have happened to Butch Johnson, because he's normally the alternate receiver they use in these situations. Dallas was about to get another 5-yard penalty for delay of game when Staubach looked up and saw the 30-second clock in the end zone. And as you saw, 1 second left to play, and he quickly called timeout to avoid the penalty. But Johnson is the punt returner and also a backup wide receiver, so he might have been shaken up a little bit earlier and is now out of the ball game and has been replaced in those situations by Robert Steele at wide receiver and by Hill in catching punts. And what would a Cowboy game be without the Cowboy cheerleaders, huh?
I'll tell you one thing. If you've done a game up in Philadelphia, the Philadelphia ones are awful nice, too.
That's right. Everywhere you go, a pulchritude of beauty.
It adds a little more excitement to the ball game.
2nd and 12 as we head back to play. Cowboys have the ball on the 29 of the Philadelphia Eagles. They lead 7-0. Staubach retreating into the pocket. 2 flags down as Preston Pearson takes the pass inside the 20 and close to the first down at the 17.
I think we got a holding.
We got a holding.
All right. Big break for Philadelphia.
I would say so at this particular point. You know, speaking of people we want to say hello to today, also, Dick Vermeil's parents are out in Calistoga, California, and this is the first Eagle telecast, which has been beamed out in the Napa Valley this year. And I know his folks are looking in, and boy, they are rooting hard. Yeah.
His brother. In fact, he came up to me prior to the game and told me, he says, "Hey, Tom," he says, "make sure you say hello to my friends out there in California."
Holding by number 70 on the offense.
You know, talking about Dick Vermeil, this guy has really changed the attitude around Philadelphia. He's got this ball club working as a team unit. They're playing much better football. They've got some real leaders on that team, and, you know, I don't think they're not right there totally yet, but I'll tell you one thing, they're knocking on that door, and they're going to beat a lot of ball clubs.
10-yard penalty, so it's second down at 22 now for the Cowboys at the 39-yard line of the Eagles. Again, Staubach from out of the spread formation, in trouble behind the line, shakes loose, looking downfield, going to have to run it. He's to the 30, the 25, down to the 22-yard line. It took a pretty good shot in the back as he went down. That's not bad for a guy 36 years old.
Again, you can see that the pass defense is doing a great job against the Cowboys. Staubach just runs out of the pocket. He breaks the tackle by Bill Berge right there. He sees he can't throw the ball. A good block right there. Staubach he's got the jitterbugs right there and comes in and picks up good yardage. It's third down now, and about 5 yards to go, 6 yards.
Johnny Outlaw made the stop. Ball is spotted at the 23-yard line of the Eagles. Third down. And let's call it 5 for the first down. Staubach the throw. Over the head of Preston Pearson as he tried to set up the screen. Obviously, he thought Pearson had dropped a lot deeper toward that sideline.
He sure did. Let me tell you, Mr. Berge read that as well as any middle linebacker can. Just watch number 66 at the bottom of your screen. He sees Preston sliding along the line, going back to the outside, and he is right there. Good defense.
Or Staubach might have felt the pressure there, and he saw the Eagles moving up. He might have just thrown it away. Raphael Septien will attempt a 40-yard field goal. I tell you, he kicked that thing 47 last week in St. Louis against the wind with the crowd all over him. It was quite a clutch kick. He's got a strong leg. Former Los Angeles Ram gets it up. It's plenty long, and it is no good. He missed it off to the right side. So the Cowboys misfire, and the Philadelphia Eagles will take over at the line of scrimmage with 7 minutes and 59 seconds left to play in the first half. More about that after the ball game is over, but Dorsett has had some of his biggest days against the Eagles, including a 206-yard effort against Philadelphia right here last year, which included an 84-yarder. That's the club record. The fake to Dorsett this time, and Staubach with the deep drop over the middle, but nothing there.
And that big man's there again, number 66, Bill Berge.
Hey, they're putting Dorsett to work quickly, aren't they? 2 plays.
He had a rest the first quarter. They're coming in with Mr. Versatility, number 21 again. They're taking the linebacker out, so they'll have their 5 defensive backs in on a passing situation, third and about 6 yards.
Ball is at the 34-yard line of the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys leading 7-0. Staubach has him in the shotgun. Gets the snap from Cooper. Protection is good. First down throw to Preston Pearson. Out of bounds at the 45.
I'll tell you, that guy comes up with more big plays than anybody on the team. He is super. Staubach setting up right here from the shotgun again. The pressure is not on. Preston goes out on that linebacker, and he has the option move of going to the inside or the outside, whichever way he feels that he can get that first down, Frank. And I think it's one of the big plays in footballs today. That kept me around a long time with Unitas throwing it to me. We used to call it the halfback short option, inside or outside, or if it was a zone, you hooked up right in the dead spot in the middle.
Obviously, you needed help to stay around that long, right?
You're right.
First and 10, Cowboys from their 44-yard line. Dallas has controlled the ball for most of the second period. Here's Dorsett breaking into the secondary across the 50 and down to the 48-yard line. Mike Hogan, we understand, has a groin muscle pull and will not be back, and that's got to hurt the Eagles. And from the Cowboys side, Butch Johnson has bruised the back of his hip and may be back in the second half.
Well, you know, the valuable asset that Hogan is that he's such a great blocker, but he's also started this game off with some good rushing.
Second down, 3 for the Dallas Cowboys at the 49-yard line of the Philadelphia Eagles. Clock is rolled down to 3 minutes and 40 seconds left in the second half. It'll end around with the tight end, Billy Joe Dupree, carrying the ball. Dupree to the 40, out of bounds at the 35, first down. Last week against the Cardinals, the Cowboys pulled all kinds of reverses out of the book, even had the flea flicker. They used that to score a touchdown.
Here again is right there. It's the end around, tight end round. He's got the blocking out in front of him. Breaks to the inside, and here's a good tackle. I'll tell you, when you got a big man running the ball like that with a hit of steam, all you can do is try to knock his feet out from under him, and he did, but he still gets the first down.
Herman Edwards on the stop, and a first down for the Cowboys at the Eagle 34-yard line. Dallas offense started this drive back at the 28-yard line. Cowboys are looking for some consistency in their offense. Their running game was very bad last week. Newhouse on the sweep to the 30. Down to the 25 and very close to another first down. Looks like he may be a yard and a half or so short. Little man moves outside pretty good.
He sure does. Again, he's got the whole offensive line out in front of him there. And here comes number 66 across again. Bill Berge brings him down. Once he gets his hands on you, he ain't going to get away too often.
You take a look at Newhouse, take a look at his thighs sometime. They're the size of a lot of people's waist. And, in fact, he can't buy clothes in the store because his thighs are too big. For a while, his wife was making all of his clothes, his pants and all. Second down. About a yard needed for the first down. From the 26-yard line of the Eagles, the pitch to Dorsett. Got enough for the first and hurdles inside the 20-yard line down to about the 18. Something that you may notice on the field there, which may have been pointed out to you before here at Texas Stadium, the stripe at the 20-yard line. You see that red bordered stripe? That's for the benefit of fans sitting in the end zone when they look at the play down at the other end of the field. Gives them a better relationship to the yard lines. 2-minute warning is what's in progress down in the field. Officially, 1:58 is left to play in the first half. The Cowboys leading the Eagles 7-0. And the ball, as you can see, is at the 19-yard line.
And they're knocking on the door again down here. The Eagles have got to come up, stop them from scoring a touchdown on this drive. And if they can go in there and just get away with 3 points right now and be 10-0, I think they'd be happy.
Both Cowboy wide receivers off to the left side, Drew Pearson and Tony Hill. On this 1st and 10, Staubach hands to Dorsett, gets a block from Newhouse. He's at the 15. He's down to the 11-yard line. Doesn't need much of a hole, does he?
He squirts through there. He follows his blocking very well. He comes across the line of scrimmage, and he's, you know, the one thing you do as a back is you try to not to outrun your blocking. He sees where it's at. He cuts back up to the inside. It's just a beautiful cut right there. This is what you've got to do, because once you get out there by yourself, babes, that's when you're all alone.
It's tough to teach a guy that, though. A lot of that is natural instinct.
That's right.
Second down. Short yardage for first down. Cowboys need 2 for the first. And Staubach elects to call time. There's some confusion in there as he wants to have a word with head coach Tom Landry on the sidelines. Cowboys shuttle their guards in with the plays from the bench, as I'm sure you've been noticing throughout the course of the afternoon. It's a big drive for Dallas because if they can go in with a touchdown and a 14-0 lead.
There's no question about it. And this is why, you know, they've got short yardage situation right here, and I think that Staubach wanted to just make sure that Landry and he were on the same page as calling, you know, what they wanted to call right here. He's got 1 timeout left, though, so, you know, it's they've got to move that ball pretty quick.
Staubach's had a few dropped on him so far. He's 4 out of 10 for a total of 46 yards. And let's see, Preston Pearson has not caught a ball yet. Preston's got a consecutive game streak working of 52 right now.
Preston or Drew?
Drew. Did I say Preston?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Preston.
Drew Pearson hasn't caught a pass so far this afternoon. He's normally had some of his biggest days against the Eagles. We'll have all the scores for you at halftime, but right now we've got an update for you on the St. Louis Cardinal New York Jet game. Jets 23, Cardinals 10. Brent, Irv, and Jane will be along with all the scores at halftime. Packers have tied Minnesota now in the second period. We'll also have videotape highlights of this game as well as other games. Second down, 2 for the first down. Cowboys at the Eagle 11-yard line. Hill in motion. The fake end around. Staubach holding it. Drills it over the middle. Caught by Pearson and dropped. Couldn't hold it at the 1-yard line.
Woo. Boy, I'll tell you one thing. They had all kinds of razzle-dazzle going on that one, Frank. Again, right here, you can see it. Fake to one side. The fake, the tight end around. Staubach is just setting up in there. Drills that ball in there. Good defensive play. Just bobbles that ball.
That sets up third down now, and still 2 needed for the first down. I guess they're going to have to start worrying about picking up the first down, but keep in mind, I think they're out of timeouts. They may have 1 left. Let's see.
I think they got 1 left, but they're down on that clock down to 7 seconds to get this play off.
1 timeout left. 30-second clock down to 2 seconds. Staubach gets it away on third down, looks in the end zone, caught for a touchdown. Drew Pearson making the catch, and look at that spike.
Makes a great play on it.
So Pearson keeps his consecutive game receiving streak alive. He's got a way to go to catch Carmichael.
And I'll tell you, Outlaw was all over him. He was right there on him. Again, you can see Jaworski. You can see Staubach setting up right there. He bounces around, throws it straight out there. And I mean, it was a perfect throw because Outlaw dove right in front of it. If it would have been thrown any shorter, he'd have knocked the ball down. And the usual spike.
Pearson has come up with a few unusual spikes this year. Septien with the extra point makes it Cowboys 14, Eagles nothing. And we've still got 1:05 left to play in the first half. So Dallas with a 14-point edge. Going now. He's now reached 53. That's the number of games in which he has caught a pass.
Carmichael had one earlier, and I think that made him 87.
88 now. 88 now. He's at 88, and of course Carmichael, as we said, the all-time NFL record is 105, and Carmichael has that within sight next year. Well, Mr. getting ready to kick off, and deep we have Betterson and we have Campfield. Taken by one of the short men, one of the Eagle linebackers picking up the ball. That's Terry Totolo. As the Cowboys weren't going to risk a long run back, they give the Eagles the ball instead of the 40-yard line.
Frank, here's where Mr. Jaworski's got to come up with that 2-minute offense that they have. They've got 1 minute left on the clock right now. They've got to be able to come up, try to get on that scoreboard before they go in the locker room. It's going to be tough, though. This Dallas defense is always good, especially when they're...
Jaworski's been held in check pretty well. 3 out of 9 in the first half for 27 yards. That's nothing for him. First and 10, nose of the ball just inside the Eagles' 40-yard line. Back to throw, Jaworski. Larry Cole after him, dumps off the screen to Montgomery, loses the ball, a big scramble forward at the 32. Boy, did Montgomery get sandwiched. I think that'll qualify as the hit of the day, will it?
I'll tell you one thing. Here it is right now. Jaworski setting up the screen. The offensive lineman come through. He leads him out a little bit too far. He doesn't have total control of it, but when he does, he gets nailed.
Aaron Kyle, number 25, and Benny Barnes, number 31. And the fumble recovery is made by Philadelphia. Looked like Stan Walters scooped up the fumble, but there was a loss on the play of 8 yards. So it is second down, 18, Philadelphia. Now from the 32-yard line. Jaworski back to throw. Cole all over him. To Krepley, the tight end at the 50. Krepley bowling over tacklers down to the 43, and the Eagles will call time as Cleveland Franklin, Thomas Henderson square off. However, there are just 2 seconds left on the clock, so it'll be time for just one play. And obviously they're not quite within field goal range yet, so it's going to be after one of those Hail Mary jobs, I guess.
Again, you can see right here, Jaworski setting up, and he just plops the tight end Keith right down the middle, right there on a zone pass. He catches the ball. Here's one of the biggest competitors they have on this team. This guy, you know, there's an article in the paper about him that if anything happens to the ball club, it's always his fault. But boy, is he a strong competitor and catches that ball. He's one of the real premier tight ends in football today.
Talk about competitors. How about this guy? Hard a working a coach as you'll find everywhere. He has a lot of respect around the league for what he has done with this ball club. When you consider Philadelphia hasn't had a first or second round draft choice since 1973, their scouting department done just a super job. People like Jackie Graves and Carl Peterson and Herman Ball, and finding the Mike Hogans and the Wilbert Montgomerys and people like that. And I was talking to Jim Murray before the game, and he said, there is no way in the world that they could pry us loose of our #1 draft choice next year, because it has been that long. But they're coming.
They sure are. You know, on this situation right here with 2 seconds left in there, you know, what you do is just send everybody down the field and try to get Mr. Carmichael down in that end zone someplace and just throw it up and let her go and hope for the best.
Imagine when you were in there, they say, Tom, you just stay in and try to block, huh? Just hit somebody.
I couldn't get down there fast enough.
First down, but that's really meaningless at this point. The ball is at the Dallas 43-yard line. 2 seconds left to play in the half, and the Eagles down 17 to nothing. 43 came to mind because Cliff Harris is playing back deep center field, back on the goal line.
There's a flag, too.
Markers all over the place. There's a Hail Mary toss in the vicinity of the goal line, tipped in the air and intercepted. I tell you, that's a dangerous thing there with that ball bouncing around. The Eagles could have just as easily come up with a touchdown.
But it was backfield in motion, I think.
So it'd be declined, obviously, because the clock then would run out and the half would be over. It's against the Eagles.
Yes, motion on the offense, lined up offside on the defense. We'll play it over.
How about that?
Oh, get one more pitch up in the air. Oh, I saw the backfield in motion, at least. Got half of it right. But that's exactly what he did on the play. He just threw it up for grabs out there.
Well, you got a guy like Carmichael. Now, he's 6'8", and then why not put him down there at the goal line and say alley-oop?
No question. Got to do it, and I'll do it again. The only thing you got to hope is they don't have a 101-yard return on an interception.
Well, you pray for the touchdown catch, of course, or at least an interception call. I mean, interference call. Looked like Bethea almost jumped offside. No flag. Jaworski just winds up and fires it deep, and the Cowboys are back there, and it is knocked down, incomplete at the goal line. Now, they had Carmichael down there. They had Ken Payne down there. That's the end of the first half here at Texas Stadium in Irving. The Dallas Cowboys lead the Philadelphia Eagles 14-0. We'll be back shortly.
Right now, we're going to send you back to the most dedicated play-by-play man we've got today. The man on his honeymoon, Frank Lever. Frank?
Halftime here at Texas Stadium with the Dallas Cowboys leading the Philadelphia Eagles by a score of 14-0. And we'll be back with more NFL action and highlights in just a moment. Go!
All right. Sit. Go! Okay.
I'm Drew Pearson of the Dallas Cowboys. It was here on this field at South River High School that I decided football was going to play a pretty important part in my life. You begin making some pretty important decisions about your life when you're a teenager. You choose your college, plan your future, you're probably going to make a decision on using or not using alcohol. Now, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but before you make a choice, you ought to have the facts on alcohol. There's a booklet especially written for teenagers that'll give you these facts. It's called Winning Decisions. So when you do make a decision, it'll be a responsible one. To get it, write to the Education Commission of the States, Box 687, Denver, Colorado. That's Education Commission of the States, Box 687, Denver, Colorado. When you make responsible decisions, you're a winner in the biggest game of all, life.
The preceding announcement was brought to you as a public service by the National Football League. Frank Lieber, along with Tom Matty, that Musburger is the all-time cheap shot artist, you know?
I'll tell you one thing, you have to be dedicated.
Well, I just have an understanding lady, that's all.
She has to be.
Let's talk about Dallas-Philadelphia first. I guess the Eagles got to find some offense. They're going to get back in this ballgame.
Well, you know, the thing that they did when they first came out in the ball game is they came up with a first down pass, and they was very effective with it. And Jaworski's going to have to go back to that. They've got to get some offense. some offensive momentum going for them. They've got to get up on that scoreboard. They might as well count them out of the ball game.
Well, they better get with it right now. There's the man, Ron Jaworski, upon his shoulders in great part. Rest the Eagles' hopes were coming back here down 14-0 as we get close to starting the second half of play. Sun, as you can see, is broken through the clouds once again. Let's take a look at these first half statistics, see if anything here strikes you.
Well, the only thing that's a little bit different is the time of possession. The Eagles had the ball 15 minutes and 12 seconds. Dallas had it only 14:48, but the key thing that happened was that fumble. Hogan made that fumble that gave him the ball on the inside the 50-yard line, and they marched down and made the score on it.
Of course, Dorsett coming back in the game seemed to spark him a little bit on that last drive.
Well, it sure did. He ran the ball very effectively. But listen, let's not underrate that Mr. Preston Pearson. He did a great job catching the ball in third down situations and also, you know, coming up with that first down.
Very important now as the Eagles kick off. Cowboys get the football, and the Eagles got to shut them down. If they go down the field here and score again, it could be all over.
Pack your bags.
Had a lot of drop passes today, too, haven't we?
They sure are. You know, both quarterbacks have thrown the ball in there, and the big one, I think, was the one that Jaworski hit Payne down the sideline on. That was a takeoff pattern that was right in his hands, and he dropped it.
Micah Myers kick. Larry Brinson at the 2-yard line. Takes it out to the 10, 15, 20. Brinson to the 30-yard line, and is down at the 33. Brinson, been on the squad now just a week, was with them all of last year, and all during preseason this year was one of the Cowboys' last cuts, and then was recalled last week when Doug Dennison went down with a knee injury. So 1st and 10 for the Cowboys at their 33-yard line. Staubach 5 out of 12 in the first half for only 57 yards. 1 touchdown, that to Drew Pearson. Sacked twice for a total of 7 yards loss, and has not had an interception. Staubach has had an inordinately large number of interceptions this year, a total of 11. He went all of last year with only 10 interceptions.
And Mr. Preston Pearson's back in there instead of Dorsett.
Tony Hill in motion. Staubach comes out throwing. Newhouse to the 35. Robert Newhouse up to the 38-yard line. You heard Brent at halftime talking about that mouthpiece situation with Newhouse. He's given that up. Nobody really knows if anybody picked that thing up or not.
Again, here he is right here. He's setting up. Newhouse is just going around a corner. Hooks up right there. Good first down play. Picks up about 5 yards on it.
Officials spot the ball at the 38-yard line of the Dallas Cowboys. It is 2nd down 5. Cowboys leading 14-0. Newhouse 44 and Pearson 26 the setbacks. Here's Preston Pearson. Across the 40 up to the 43-yard line.
Close to the first down, too.
And again, for those of you who joined us late, Tony Dorsett was benched at the outset because he missed practice yesterday without an excuse. Came into the ball game with about 5 minutes left to play in the second period and is not starting the third period. Cowboys lead this series 23 victories against 12 losses. Been 1 tie. This is close enough for measurement. Dallas has won the last 7 games. Last time the Eagles won was a Monday night game back in 1974. I recall that very vividly when Joe the Bird Lavender picked up a fumble by Doug Dennison, returned it about 97 yards for a touchdown. But it looked like the Cowboys were about to put it away. Dallas does get the first down. That's their 10th of the ball game against 5 by Philadelphia.
You know, you're talking earlier about turnovers and that Staubach starting off slow. They have a serious problem here. Last year, Dallas turned the ball over just 24 times, the fewest in the NFL. But this year, the Cowboys have already committed 20 turnovers.
1st and 10 for the Cowboys at their 42-yard line. Tony Hill wide to the right side. That's Drew Pearson starting in motion. Newhouse gets the handoff, breaks a tackle, 45, 50. And the little man's got another first down at the Eagle 45-yard line.
They seem to be able to get outside of the defense of the Eagles right now. They've got to have better lateral movement right here. You can see Newhouse looks to the inside, sees it is close. Berge is right there, fills the hole. But this is where your cornerbacks and safeties have got to come up and force the play. Newhouse with good running right there, Frank.
Eagles come in as the #1 rushing team in all of pro football, but thus far this afternoon, Cowboys have just about doubled the Eagles' total on the ground. That's been a big factor in this ball game. 1st and 10 Dallas at the 45-yard line of Philadelphia. Second half about 2 minutes old. Drew Pearson in motion. Pitch to Preston Pearson. Steps inside about the 41, and then he's pushed back. Got almost 4 yards.
Again, Frank, did you see the movement that he had? He looked like he was going to go back to the outside. Saw that was plugged up to the outside, and just turned back to the inside, picked up about 3 yards.
Bill Berge made the stop. I got to believe Berge is pumped up this year. Here it is, really his first opportunity to really play on a truly winning team.
Yeah, he's a super guy. Not only is he a fierce competitor on the field, but he's one of the real gentlemen off the field.
He cost him a few draft picks, but I don't think there's anybody in the Philadelphia organization going to begrudge what they had to give up to get Bill Berge. Newhouse. Caught it about the line of scrimmage. Good defensive charge that time by Carl Hairston, number 78, who slowed him down and then made the stop at about the 40-yard line. Newhouse maybe a yard.
We got a guy coming into the ball game right now, Dennis Harrison, who's come in on the pass rush. He played an outstanding game last week, really getting to and putting the pressure on Theismann. He was all over the field. He's a big, tall guy, 6'8", 275. They said he was too nice a guy in college ball. But let me tell you one thing, whatever it did, Mr. Vermeil has got him fired up, and he's playing good defense.
They call him Bigfoot. Good nickname. 3rd down, 6. Nose of the ball just beyond the Eagle 40. Staubach under pressure delivers over the middle, and Billy Joe Dupree couldn't hold it.
And it was almost picked off that time.
I think Frank LeMaster was just certain he had an interception there, and Dupree broke through really and broke up the pass more than anything else.
Sometimes you got to be a defensive back on offense whenever the interception's going to be there.
Shearer drops back, anticipating the punt. And Danny White awaiting the snap from center. White averaged almost 50 yards of punt in the first half on 3 kicks. Angles this one to the near sideline, aiming for the coffin corner. And let's see where it went out. It went out inside the 5. No, it didn't either. Yeah, that's a tough one to call. The officials are saying now it's a touchback. That thing was so high and angled to the sideline. That's a terribly tough decision to make. They say it went into the end zone, so the Eagles will get the ball at the 20. Well, everybody thought San Diego was going to be the latest to jump on Detroit today. Didn't turn out that way, huh? Detroit leading in the 4th period, 31-14. Here's the Eagles' first possession on offense in the second half. From their 20-yard line, they trail 14-0. They got to get it going offensively. Pitch to Montgomery, who's been held pretty well in check. Lost the ball. Dallas recovers. D.D. Lewis. No, they're saying he was down.
He was down. That was a good call by the official.
D.D. Lewis made the recovery, but they're ruling Montgomery was down at the 25 after a pickup of 5, and you'll be able to see.
Here he is right now. He turns the corner. He keeps his balance. Oh, that was pretty close.
You back it off a little bit, are you, big fella?
He was stripped to that ball. Looked like no comment.
Yeah. You back it off a little bit now, huh? All right. Officials mark it at the 24. It is 2nd down, 6. So let's just say Philadelphia gets a break.
Yeah.
From the split backfield to the eye. Penalty markers down, illegal procedure. Philadelphia moving back 5 yards.
Here you can see him firing out, son.
Well, 10 guys at the snap count right.
I'll tell you, that's when you really are embarrassed, when you have those kind.
It's Tom Lukin, number 63.
You know, Montgomery's got to get loose here.
4 minutes left in the Giant-Redskin game, and the Giants all over Washington, 17-6. If Dallas wins this game, they would move into a tie for first place in the NFC Eastern Division. 2nd down at 11. Montgomery breaking a tackle at the line of scrimmage. Charlie Waters finally slows him. I'll tell you, Waters is an interesting story this week. He was swinging at home, and I say swinging, he had a swing in the backyard, and the thing broke, and a spring popped up and hit Waters beneath the eye and put a huge gash in there. He needed actually some plastic surgery, and we went out to practice one day this week, and someone said he looked like the Phantom of the Opera. you know, it really looked bad, and we thought he might need a protective cage or something, but he's been playing the entire ball game and been playing very well. Just a freak accident, but he got a huge gash under his eye.
We got one of the Eagles down on the field down there right now. They're going to take off.
That's Montgomery.
They don't need to miss him. They've already lost Hogan.
Cowboys traditionally, down through the years, have done an excellent job on containing outstanding runners, people like Walter Payton and O.J. Simpson and several others. Now, thus far, Montgomery has 35 yards and 10 carries. That giant Redskin score is being posted now, and you can hear the fan reaction in the background. Because the Cowboys obviously have a lot to gain, so do the Eagles, from a giant victory. Third down. The Eagles need 6 for the first down. Ball is at their 23-yard line. On Jaworski, quick hitter to Cleveland Franklin, and Franklin to stop short of the first down at the 29, about a yard shy. Almost popped through there for a big gain. Cliff Harris made the stop.
He just got that ball off, though. You can see right here on the replay, Jaworski really has a pressure put on him, and he just gets that ball off. It was lucky it wasn't a fumble.
That's Randy White just all over him. White is so quick. Michelle now, after 2 lousy punts in his first 2 offerings, wound up the first half averaging 42 yards a kick, and that's not bad.
A lot of teams in the NFL like to have that for an average.
9.5 minutes to go. 10-man rush being put up there by the Cowboys. Again, they drop back for the return. Tony Hill looking up into the sun, fields it at the 23, 25. Hill to the 30-yard line. Outside to about the 31, and that's it. Eric Johnson made the stop for the Philadelphia Eagles. That stops the clock with 9:18 left in the third period. We'll be back at Texas Stadium in just a moment. CBS Sports Spectacular next Saturday. Watch it. You'll see the Phoenix 150. That'll be live in the world's strongest men competition. Dallas back to the attack. Preston Pearson taking the handoff from Staubach from the 30 out to the 41-yard line. Pickup of 11 yards. Randy Logan, number 41 on the stop.
All right, number 26, Preston Pearson. Great move to the outside. Picks up the block right there. Tucks that ball away. Puts both arms over top of it. Doesn't cause a fumble. Picks up a first down. He had a great first half. He had five attempts for 39 yards for 7.8 yards per carry.
Preston now has 59 yards rushing and 8 carries. He is the leading rusher in the ball game. Newhouse has got 40. Montgomery 37. And Hogan 24. But the Eagles now have deep problems. They got Montgomery hurt, and they've also got Hogan hurt. Here's Staubach. Sideline throw. Caught by Drew Pearson, and he couldn't hold it. Really took a shot in the ribs, and Drew may have been shaken up a little bit. Really sticking him was Herman Edwards, number 46. We were telling you about the world's strongest men competition, and this time around it's going to be the car lift. I don't know what else they're going to find for those guys to lift. They've tried just about everything, haven't
they had the refrigerator lift and the car lift.
How about the, we get them down to try to lift the CBS truck.
Shake it a little bit down there.
Yeah, rattle their cage down there a little bit. Cowboys with the football at their 41-yard line, 2nd and 10. Staubach. Blitz is on. Yes, sir. Pearson. Safety valve out to the 44-yard line. Staubach read the blitz very nicely, and I must say that Newhouse picked it up pretty good. He put a pretty good lick there. Number 54 charging through, Drew Mahalik. Mahalik's come back after missing several games because of a kind of mysterious allergy, wasn't he?
Yeah, he had some allergy wrong with him, but another guy that they lost who has had surgery was Bunting, who is a good linebacker. And these guys are really active. The 4 linebackers are very active across that line right there, and the defense has been doing a great job containing the teams. But you got to remember one thing. This is a fourth quarter team, so we got to sort of, see what happens in that fourth quarter.
Third down, 7. From the shotgun, again, the blitz is on by the Philadelphia Eagles, and Staubach has to cover up. Try to run out of trouble and can't do it as he's pinned at the 37-yard line by Frank LeMaster, number 55.
That's what they've got to do. The Philadelphia defense has got to put that pressure on Staubach in that shotgun formation. They did it. Now they're coming up with a punt. Let's see if they can get some good field position.
Danny White has put some shots in orbit today. I mean, moon shots on these punts. His hang time has been incredible. Shara is the deep man. Last time he punted it into the end zone, so that brought his average down. But he gets tremendous height on these kicks. The Eagles have 10 men at the line of scrimmage. Snap a little bit high. There's another sailor to the near sideline. Shara inside the 20. Fumbles it out of bounds at the 16-yard line. Eagles will take it there. We get a penalty marker down. Got a clip against Philadelphia.
When it rains, it pours.
Penalties at strategic times. That, of course, happened nowhere near the ball. Wasn't anybody close to Shara over there on the sidelines. That'll cost him half the distance to the goal. 7 minutes, 8 seconds remaining in the third period. Frank Lieber along with Tom Matty from Texas Stadium. It's your first visit here, isn't it?
It sure is, and it is a beautiful stadium, I'll tell you that. It's a great place to do a game from, Bob. Frank.
Flipping on the receivers during the run back, number 52. First down.
Ray Phillips guilty of the penalty, Bill.
I was thinking of Mr. Bob Rowe down in his truck.
Timeout down to the field. Over 7 minutes left to play in the third period. 32 seconds left now in the Washington Giants game. It looks like the Giants have beaten the Redskins, which means Dallas could move into a tie for first place. Half the distance to the goal means the Eagles now have a 1st and 10 from their 8-yard line. Jaworski calling the signals. Going to throw from deep in his own territory. Carmichael, the intended receiver, and the flag is thrown on Aaron Kyle, the Cowboy defensive back. Thomas Henderson comes over to plead his teammates' cause. That's pass interference, and that's a first down. Gets him out of the hole. The attendance at Texas Stadium today, 60,525. The capacity is 65,101. That means that 4,446 fans learned that Tom Matty was going to be here and stayed home to watch it on television.
You can see on the replay right here in the far left-hand corner where the defensive back comes up and just nicks him before the ball is put in there. We also have a final, and the Giants have won the game, 17-6. So that really throw this into a real tight race.
Jaworski handing off to Montgomery, who has come back into the ball game. Montgomery and Franklin are operating as the Eagle running backs in this series. Not much there, though. Charlie Waters made the stop. You're going to hear a big roar from the fans here at Texas Stadium as soon as they post that Washington Redskin New York Giant final. Jaworski is now 5 out of 12 for 44 yards. He's been sacked twice.
You know, he only had 99 yards in receptions last week, and
you know, the Cowboys coming into this game are 12th in pass defense in the NFC. So you figure they can be thrown against. And the Eagles haven't been able to do it. 2nd and 8.
The blitz is on.
Got it away in time and hit Carmichael for the first down at the 32-yard line. Carmichael in single coverage with Aaron Kyle of the Cowboys.
That's a big target down there. I was talking to Carmichael. I'll tell you a story about it, but let's first watch Jaworski set up right in here. There's the roar of the crowd for the score of the Giant game, but it's a perfect throw by Jaworski. Carmichael you were getting on a bus earlier, and he was flying down with him. He says, "You're Tom Matty, aren't you?" And I says, "I sure am." And he says, "You know, you were my hero in high school," which sort of hurt my feelings right away. But he says, "I used to wear your number 41. He says, because I thought you were such, and he said he played quarterback in high school. So now he's a 6'8" receiver out there, a pretty big target.
I'd say so. 1st and 10. Eagles have the football at their 31-yard line. This drive started back at the 7. Got a long ways to go. Here's Jaworski. Got Carmichael again at the 50, and Carmichael just falls forward another 4 yards to the 46-yard line of the Cowboys. So the Eagles are on the move.
On that particular play right there, Carmichael read the zone defense, went around the man who bumped him up on the line of scrimmage and just got in that dead spot between the deep man and the short man, and Jaworski read it, and they came up with another first down, so they've got some offense generated right now. They've got to keep their momentum going.
Hey, the line they normally give you, isn't it? Didn't you used to be Tom Matty?
Oh, you know how to hurt a guy.
1st and 10, Eagles, Dallas 46-yard line. Cowboys leading 14-0. About 5 minutes left in the third period. Montgomery dips inside. Inside the 45, down to the 44. Henderson is over there. So is Charlie Waters.
I'll tell you, Charlie Waters is really playing a great ball game. He is coming up on all the run plays. I think a good play-action play right now can really do the job. If you can hold him, set that run up. You got to get a guy down there. If they had somebody who could throw that ball from the option play.
Drew Pearson, we understand, has bruised ribs, as well we might imagine after you saw him take that shot from Edwards. But he will return to the ball game. Will return. That's what they've got here. 2nd and 8. Had Krepley, the tight end, in motion. Montgomery on the pitch. Inside the 40 to the 38. Fumble the ball. And again, I believe it's going to be ruled dead. Still short of the first down. Bears and the Bucks are now in the fourth period of play, and Tampa Bay's got some offense today.
Oh, they sure do. 33-19 over Chicago, and I got a chance to do a game in a couple of weeks when Tampa Bay goes out and plays that hot team out in L.A., the Rams.
Montgomery was shaken up again. He's being tended to in front of the Eagles bench as Jaworski looks on.
Boy, if you lose both backs from the backfield on this team, that's really going to hurt them.
And they complement each other so well. Here's our our second final score of the afternoon. We told you that Washington and the Giants are final. Jets and St. Louis are also final, so that is 0-8 for Bud Wilkinson. And next week, going to be the Eagles and the Cardinals.
I'll tell you, poor Bud's having his problems down there in St. Louis. You know, they gave real scare to the Dallas Cowboys last week, and they really dominated the game. But they came up on the short end of it again in that sudden death. Super play. First down situation again, Frank. Use that play action. They held him up there.
Keith Krepley, one of the most underrated tight ends in all of pro football.
Here it is right here. Jaworski just lays it out. Has a soft touch of the ball. And there's a man that didn't want to be denied getting in that end zone.
Charlie Waters tried to catch him, couldn't do it. And the Eagles are on the scoreboard, and this is close to being a new football game now. Just 7 points down if they convert on the extra point try. Nick Mickemeyer to do the honors. And the ever-present Mr. Shura to hold. Penalty marker down as one of the Cowboys looked like they broke across the line of scrimmage and then tried to jump in. Nope, it's against the Eagles.
But don't go away, folks. We got a football game, I think.
2 minutes, 47 seconds left to play in the third period.
You know, we said that they had to start getting some offense generated, and the Eagles came back and really have moved that ball.
That's a drive. You know, it's a 92-yard drive. That's not shabby against a defense like Dallas.
That's right.
It's not shabby against anybody. Here's the penalty call by Red Cashin.
False start, number 64 of the offense.
They'll go against Ed George. Shira will now put it down at the 14-yard line, so this would be the equivalent of a 24-yard field goal as they try the extra point. He got it. No problem at all for Nick Mickemeyer. And with 2:47 left to play in the third period, the Cowboys' lead over the Eagles has shrunk to 7 points. Took the Eagles just 7 plays to travel the 92 yards and get on the scoreboard here in the third period. Nick Mickemeyer, who tacked on the extra point, will be kicking off. The Cowboys have Larry Prince in deep on the left of your screen and a Lois Blackwell on the right. The whistle by the referee, Red Cashin. Coming down on Brinson's side. Second-year man at the 3, out to the 10, 15, 20, 25, and caught at the 28-yard line. Eric Johnson making the stop. He's had a lot of tackles on the specialty teams.
And again, right here, we get a chance to see Jaworski setting up this play. It's a play-action pass. Just a deep corner pattern by the tight end going to the outside. And there's Waters right there. I was telling you about him forcing it. He took advantage of the fact that Waters is coming up on that run so quickly. And he lays.
You did mention that earlier, didn't you?
You like that? You like that?
Charlie was coming up on all the running plays, forcing it, and he got stung. Preston Pearson taking the pitch. and taking it to the 32-yard line. Got 3 on the play. It'll be 2nd down 7.
You know, Frank, here's where momentum changes. You can just see that there's a momentum change going right now. The Eagles got it going for them. They've got the big touchdown. They're back in this ball game. Now, what has to happen is that Dallas has got to put it back together and start coming up with some big plays themselves.
Cowboys need at least to string some first downs together and get something resembling a drive going. 2nd and 8 as the officials spot the ball at the 32-yard line. Robert Newhouse, Preston Pearson, the setbacks. Billy Joe Dupree in motion. Good protection for Staubach for Pearson. That's one pass that they have down perfect. There's just virtually no way you can defend against that.
I tell you, the thing about it is Staubach sets up. But what's perfect about this pass is that he throws it back. The receiver takes a deep pattern, and he comes back for the ball. He leads him to the outside. The defender, there's no way that he can get to it. It's a perfect throw.
It's a first down for the Cowboys at the Dallas 45-yard line. Drew Pearson had over 100 yards receiving on 7 catches against the Cardinals last week, recapturing the team lead in receiving. Preston Pearson gets a block from Rafferty, but it's not nearly enough, as Pearson is dropped a yard behind the line of scrimmage. Frank LeMaster and Carl Hairston with good penetration by the Eagles defense.
Carl Hairston got a hold of that arm, didn't want to let him go.
Staubach is now 8 out of 17 for 78 yards, 1 touchdown, and he's been sacked 3 times. Cowboys have gotten to Jaworski, I believe, just once. Dallas leads the NFC with 24 sacks. But they're down from last year at this time. 2nd down. Still 10 needed for the first down. Roger Staubach, swing pass out to Newhouse. Newhouse carrying several tacklers with him 3 or 4 yards. Play carries to the 50, which will set up a 3rd down and 5 from midfield.
You know, an interesting statistic that they have is that the Eagles have held the ball 53.1% of the time this season to rank 2nd in the NFC. The team that has the most control is Los Angeles. They're controlling about 55% of the time. And in the first half, although they came up with a short end again, Philadelphia did have more ball control than Dallas did, but didn't have the points.
Tony Dorsett has come into the Dallas lineup for the first time in the second half on this 3rd down and 5 situation from midfield. Staubach has him out on the shotgun. Cowboys with a good 3rd down conversion percentage, 4 out of 9, almost 50%. Staubach barely gets it away and finally does to Pearson. LeMaster catches him from behind, preventing the touchdown. Looked like they had Staubach back. I don't know how he got it away.
I have no idea how he got it away. Here it is again, coming from the shotgun. Steps up in the pocket, pumps one time, and there he's going down. Ball's almost intercepted, and LeMaster makes a great effort by stopping a touchdown right here.
That's the end of the 3rd quarter. We'll be back at Texas Stadium in just a moment. Well, you Eagle fans can look forward to your team meeting the St. Louis Cardinals next Sunday on CBS. That's just one of the lineup of regional games, which also includes San Francisco against Washington and Detroit against Chicago. Giants will be at New Orleans, Tampa Bay, Green Bay. Consult your local listings for the game in your area. Cowboys moving now at the 25 of Philadelphia. They go at the end around. Tony Hill. Hill is down to the 22-yard line. Hill on the end around for the Cowboys gets 3.
I'll tell you, that was good reading by the defense to keep him down to 3 yards. Dallas isn't holding any strings back today. I'll tell you, they're pulling them all out.
Well, good news for the Eagles. The word on Wilbert Montgomery is that he has a cut nose, but he is due to return to the ballgame. There's the other 2 games we were talking about, Giants, New Orleans, and Tampa Bay, Green Bay. 2nd down. Cowboys need 7 for the first down. They're at the 22-yard line of the Philadelphia Eagles, leading 14-7. Early in the final period, Drew Pearson in motion. One of the Cowboy offensive linemen jumped the gun. Illegal procedure will move Dallas back 5 yards. Cowboys' next outing, a Thursday night affair against the Minnesota Vikings. you don't have a chance to breathe, much less practice. You know, you turn around, you get a day off after this game, and you get 2 days of work, and that's it.
I'll tell you one thing. You know, that makes it really tough on a ball club. There's no question about it. I didn't even like playing on Monday night and coming back on Sunday because, you know, once you get up there and a few years on you, it takes a while to get rid of those bumps and bruises that you have.
Number 67 of the offense, false start.
So the bad news goes against the Cowboys' Pat Donovan. They have Monday Night Football. You played? You left yourself open for that one. You know that, don't you?
I know it.
Second down, 12 needed for the first down. As the Cowboys are shoved back to the 28-yard line. Tony Dorsett is in the lineup. You must say the Cowboys have a well-rested running back. Here's Staubach retreating, rushes on, and they pin him at the 35. Good job by the Eagles. The guy that broke through was Bigfoot. Dennis Harrison. He had his big foot in there.
I'll tell you, he had 3 sacks, I think, last week. He really made the big play. And again, right now, this is a third down, long yardage situation. And if the Eagles can stop them defensively without getting any points on the scoreboard right now, they're risking a ball game.
This is pretty long field goal range from this territory. You're talking about 17 and trying to 50-yarder if they don't pick up any more yardage here.
That's right. Well, if he can kick a 47-yarder into the wind like last week for that, you know, to beat the Cardinals, there's not too much of a win factor here today.
Third down and 19. Cowboys are back at the 34 of Philadelphia. Roger Staubach rushes on over the middle, flag down. Intended for Drew Pearson at about the 10-yard line. The flag was thrown at the line of scrimmage. We may have a hold against Dallas. That'll take care of this drive.
That's right. I think they'll just decline it. At least I would. I wouldn't give them another chance to throw that ball. They might get a completion, put them inside the field goal range.
They take the down, of course. It
puts it fourth down,
makes it fourth down, and it will necessitate close to a 50-yard field goal attempt if the Cowboys elect to go their way. That's a bit of a decision for the Eagles, and they're looking for, well, the Eagles bench is signaling decline it.
Mr. Marion Campbell down there is saying, no way. You know, that's one of the things that Vermeil has really done, is he has put together a great coaching staff, I think.
You saw Tom Landry for just a moment there, the 5th winningest coach in NFL history now.
Holding, number 67 on the offense, declined. It'll be fourth down.
Has not been a good series of downs for Pat Donovan, the Cowboy tackle. He was flagged for the holding. That'll set up fourth down, and the Cowboys are going to try to punt it out of bounds and put the Eagles in poor field position. Sheriff standing back on the 10 as Danny White prepares to do the punting.
Well, I'd be standing for one side or the other. He's really going to go for the coffin corner, and it looks like he's going over to the left over here.
Aiming for the near sideline, trying to get it out of bounds, and he did not do so. The ball went into the end zone, and the Eagles will get it on the 20-yard line. With 13 minutes and 31 seconds left to play in the football game, they went 92 yards the last time they had it. So come back in just a moment. They have the ball at the Dallas Cowboy 20-yard line. Montgomery is back in there, coupled with Cleveland Franklin as the other running back. Here's Wilbert. Bob Brunig had him by the ankle, number 53, and wouldn't let him go. Wilbert Montgomery from Abilene Christian University. 125 yards against the Redskins last week. Had 144 earlier against Baltimore. He's had 4 100-yard games this season. That's the first time that's happened to an Eagle back since Steve Van Buren did it back in 1949. He had 6 that year, so that's the record that Montgomery is looking at. However, he might not get it today. Cowboys have been pretty tough.
They have been tough against them today.
On 2nd and 7. Again, the handoff up the middle. And Montgomery stopped for maybe a yard. No more than that. Larry Cole and Randy White were there waiting for him. This Cleveland team has 8 Texans on this ball club. A lot of guys who either grew up in the state of Texas or played their college football here. Third down. Still 7 needed for the first down. Eagles from their 23.
Dallas has their prevent defense in there, brought in a couple extra backs in there for the linebackers, so Jaworski's got to throw that ball perfect.
Carmichael to the left side. Aaron Kyle faces off against him. Ken Payne to the right. Mark Washington covering him. Flag is down as the pass was intended for Cleveland Franklin. Benny Barnes, number 31.
Offsides on Dallas.
And Henderson, number 56. But the Eagles will get another opportunity. That's a big, big penalty because it would have forced the Eagles to punt. Now this means that they'll get the ball at the 28 and be down to a third down and short yardage situation. 3rd and 2.
I wonder if we're going to see my little man coming back in there, number 21. I think it's long enough that they're going to have to go with a bigger play.
Offside, number 54 on the defense.
Randy White offside for the Cowboys. It is 3rd down and 2 for the Philadelphia Eagles. Just a shade over 12 minutes left to play in the football game. Cowboys leading 14-7. Two teams meet again in December in Philadelphia. This time, Jaworski sends both of his wide receivers off to the left. Payne on the outside and Carmichael in the slot. Franklin and Montgomery the setbacks. On 3rd and 2. Pitch goes to Montgomery trying to pick up the first down, and he did not make it. He had to race the 30 to get there.
No way.
Bob Brunig. Been in on a ton of tackles today. Cowboy middle linebacker from Arizona State making the stop. Brunig last year came on, did a great job filling the shoes of Leroy Jordan, one of the Cowboys' all-time greats. 4th down, still 2 needed for the first down as Montgomery got nothing.
Well, the little man has the pressure on him again right now. He's got to get that punt off. Otherwise, Dallas will have great field position again.
10-man rush. And again, the Cowboys playing return all the way. Good punt. Tony Hill fading back to his 25. Gets by the first man. He's at the 30-yard line looking for some running room. Retreats to the 25. Comes back to the near sideline and is finally pinned at the 27. So the Cowboys will take over, call it the 28-yard line as Hill gave it a great effort, did a lot of running, and didn't get much for it. With Tom Matty, once reported to be a running back. With the Baltimore Colts, this is Frank Lieber at Texas Stadium, 1st and 10. Dallas Cowboys at their 27-yard line. Roger Staubach feeds it to Newhouse. Found the hole closed to the left. So you saw him veer off to the right. Out to the 32-yard line. Picked up 4 yards. It'll be 2nd down 6. Right now, of course, Dallas would like to put together one of these long ball control, clock-consuming drives.
That's right, and at least get a field goal out of it to put the ball game out of sight. The defense has got to come in, and we got the big man coming in. The Bigfoot's coming back in the ball game.
Number 68, Dennis Harrison. Again, a great find by the Eagles scouting department. He comes in strictly on pass rush situations. 6'8", 275.
It's still growing.
It's still growing. There's Dorsett, caught at the line of scrimmage. So nothing for TD as middle guard Charlie Johnson stacks him up. Johnson, another young player, just a second-year man, filling a very important post for Dick Vermeil's team.
You know, in talking to Dick, I did a couple games in the last couple years with this team, and what he wanted to do was he wanted to rebuild from the beginning, and he did. He got rid of the guys that he felt were not going to be team players, and he now has a well-rounded unit out there defensively and offensively, and are going to be a real competition for a lot of ball clubs this year.
Cowboys, the best 3rd down team in the league, face 3rd and 7 from their 31. Staubach from the shotgun. That sideline throw to Drew Pearson, but this one is off the mark.
I think it might have been nicked by the big man, the Bigfoot over there. I think he might have got a hand on it.
Yeah, it's hard to believe he could throw that thing that far off.
Let's see if we can see it right here, Frank. Staubach setting up right there, and it looked like, well, I don't know. He might have got it. He at least made a big, he had to go around him with it.
Right.
At 6'8", he makes a big wall.
Danny White into punt. He's kicked 6 times for a 41.6-yard average. Shira is deep.
One thing we got to remember, this is a 4th quarter team.
Again, a nice high kick. Shira waiting at the 30. This time elects to go for the fair catch as Aaron Kyle was down there. And again, Kyle was just waiting for the ball to come down. He had to slow up until the ball got there. White kicked it that high. Timeout here at Texas Stadium with 9 minutes and 34 seconds. left to play in the football game, and the Cowboys leading the Eagles 14-7. Eagles ball 1st and 10 at their 28-yard line. White's last punt, 41 yards, had hang time of 5 seconds. That's rather incredible. Jaworski feeds it out to Montgomery. Montgomery trying to get outside. Gets away from D.D. Lewis. But the pursuit in the form of Cliff Harris nails him just beyond the 30-yard line.
He still looked like he was going to get caught in the backfield, and he came up with some kind of running ability right there. You know, I was talking about the fourth quarter. We got an injured player right there.
That's Harris, by the way, who came into this ballgame with a jammed neck that he suffered against the Cardinals last week. I'll recap some other scores for you.
Oh, my boys in Baltimore are having tough times.
It's a long year, isn't it?
It's a long year for them. They've had nothing but a lot of injuries up there. And first period, Denver's up 3-0 over Baltimore. You know, I was talking about the fourth quarter control and scoring ability of the Eagles. And you're always looking at statistics to try to find out who does what. But the Eagles have scored 69 points of their 133 points so far this season in the fourth quarter, while the opposition has only scored 20 of their 119 points. So
that's pretty impressive.
That is. You know, I think that they're a well-conditioned team. I know that Vermeil works them pretty hard.
Here's Tom Landry and Ron Jaworski. 8 out of 15 now for Ron for a total of 112 yards. Again, a reminder about what's coming up tomorrow night on CBS. The lineup starts off with WKRP in Cincinnati. Cliff Harris back on his feet, getting a hand. The People Show with Phyllis George, MASH, One Day at a Time, and Lou Grant. We hope you'll join us.
Yeah, that People Show with Phyllis George, who's one of my all-time favorites. And she's going to have Linda Carter on of Wonder Woman.
Diana Ross going to be on. Paul Newman's going to be on. It's up for everybody here.
Well, they like the men. I like the women. The boys in the truck even like Wonder Woman, see? You know,
Miami and New England just got underway, and Miami has jumped on the scoreboard.
I tell you one thing. Playing under Shula was a great... You know, he's probably one of the best coaches in the league and one of the winningest coaches in the league. But this guy, you know, he's coming back. He had a lot of injuries himself. And I think Greasy had his first chance to start this week.
2nd and 6. Randy Hughes has replaced Cliff Harris in the Dallas defensive backfield. Eagles from their own 32-yard line, trailing 14-7. Here's Jaworski. Wants to throw it, does, and completes it to Cleveland Franklin at the 45-yard line. Run out of bounds at the 47 of Philadelphia. That's a first down.
Again, Frank, here's a great play. Jaworski's got 2nd down about 6 yards, 5-6 yards. Play action, dive up the middle. He holds those linebackers, gives enough time for the back to get outside, and in between the deep man and the short man, comes up with a big first down.
Jaworski looking toward the sidelines. Now the Eagles do some wig-wagging over there, don't they, as far as the plays go?
Wig-wagging, they do everything.
He gets a lot of that information from the bench in the form of hand signals.
I used to use a cheat sheet on my wrist. It was a lot easier.
That's now the Hall of Fame, isn't it?
My only way I'm going to get in there.
1st and 10, Philadelphia from the Eagle 47. Cleveland Franklin got the ball and a quick hitter. Takes it to the 50, pick up a 3, 2nd down 7, Brunig. And Larry Bethea, number 76. Bethea's filled in for Harvey Martin, who's missed this entire ball game with the exception of the first series of downs. That game out on the West Coast in the second period. I think Seattle could beat Oakland.
I do, too. This Jim Zorn, I think, is a real good quarterback. And, you know, if you take a look at every game that Seattle's played this year, they have really been in contention.
Montgomery has picked up 46 yards rushing in 16 carries, average 2.8. His season average is 5.2, so the Cowboys have held him pretty good. 2nd and 7 from midfield. Jaworski looks near sideline. Too tall, almost gets there. Henderson back there covering the tight end Krepley. And Henderson gives the incomplete signal himself. I think Thomas was a little afraid there. Someone might drop a little yellow hanky on him. Oh, he does talk. Word from the bench on Harris is that he has a pinched nerve in his neck. And chances are good that he will be back in the ball game. 3rd down and 7. Cowboys go with their prevent.
Boy, if Philadelphia wants to get back in his ball game, they've got to come up with this big 3rd down.
8 minutes, 6 seconds left to play in the game. Cowboys leading 14-7. Cowboy fans imploring their defense to hold him right here. Cowboys faking the blitz, but instead they give it to Montgomery, and it looks like he may be a little bit short.
He's close.
That's within a yard. They may go for it if it is. Huh?
You know, it's late in the ball game. We've only got 7:54 remaining in the game.
I'd say 4th down and a yard.
I might have to go for it. They're going for it.
Here comes Betterson. Here comes Osborne, the second tight end.
And my little quarterback
And
back
Mr. Shera. 4th down, 1 yard for the first down. Philadelphia is at the Dallas 44.
This is a gutty call. You got to do it, though, if you want to get in contention. You want to be a contender.
Cleveland Franklin has the first down and a lot of change as he takes it to the 37-yard line.
And we got a flag on the play, but I believe it's offsides on Dallas.
That's okay. That's okay.
Offsides against the Cowboys. Eagles will say never mind. They'll take the gain, which was more than 5 yards.
Again, you'll see it right here. Just a handoff, a power play off tackle. Franklin, good hard running.
Number 72 on the defense offside. Refused. It'll be a first down.
Charles Jones guilty of the offsides. First down for the Philadelphia Eagles at the Cowboy 37. They've hung out of the ball quite some time here.
I'll tell you one thing. They've got the momentum going for them right now, Frank, and that's what you've got to have. You got to keep it moving.
This drive started back at the 28. We now have 7 minutes, 12 seconds left in the game. Dallas leading 14-7. Franklin and Montgomery. The setbacks behind Ron Jaworski. And Jaworski will put it up. Larry Cole's after him, screens it out to Franklin. Henderson's got him. At least he hung on until the reinforcements got there. And a loss of the play back to the 42 of some 5 yards. D.D. Lewis finally came up to cement the tackle. That was a nice one-on-one confrontation out there between Franklin and Henderson.
Henderson with his high-top black shoes out there.
He's the only guy on either side. One of the few guys in the league wears high tops.
That's right.
Of course, Thomas has had some ankle problems this year. He had a sprained ankle, kept him out of a game and a half. And so I'm sure that's one of the reasons he's wearing the high tops to get added protection. Eagles are going to call time as Jaworski wants to come over and bend Dick Vermeil's ear or vice versa. 6 minutes, 31 seconds to go. It'll be a second down and 15 situation for the Philadelphia Eagles from the Cowboy 42-yard line when we return to Texas Stadium in just a moment. Frank Lieber with Tom Matte at Texas Stadium. There's the book on Ron Jaworski. Big drive for the Eagles. 6:31 left in the game. They have a 2nd and 15 at the Dallas 42-yard line. Carmichael to the right side. Ken Payne is split off to the left. Franklin, Montgomery are the setbacks. Jaworski giving to Montgomery. Franklin leading the way, and Montgomery takes it down to about the 36-yard line. He got about the 5 yards back they got in the previous play. Aaron Kyle came up with the ball after the play had been whistled dead.
That ball's popping up a little bit too much. Can't have those mistakes down here, especially on this kind of a drive.
They're looking at 3rd and 10 now. You talk about a big play in this game? I mean, if they get up the ball here, they may never see it again.
That's right. They've had 3 out of 11 conversions on 3rd down, and the last 2 that they've made has been in this drive. So Jaworski's got to pull something out of that grab bag right now.
3rd down, 10 for the Eagles at the Cowboy 37. Clock moving. 5 minutes, 45 seconds left to play in the game.
Go after that big man, number 17, Mr. Carmichael, right now. He's a big target. Let's see if he does.
Sideline throw over the head of Ken Payne, the intended receiver. And out of bounds. Stan Walters of the Eagles was shaken up for the play. He's getting up slowly. And Payne and Cliff Harris, who is back in the ball game, were doing a little jawing on the sidelines. One of the officials leading Payne off the field. And I think it's Walters limping rather badly as he heads to the sidelines. 4th and 10. Michelle will be standing back near midfield as he prepares to punt.
I think he's going to try to hit that coffin corner, and the defense is going to have to go in there and do the job of stopping him right away because there's only 5 minutes left in the ball game, a little over 5 minutes left.
Cowboys ready to drop 2 or 3 people off. Angling it for the near sidelines.
He's got a good one. Oh, no.
Great try by Vince Papale, who went on into the end zone and tried to save it. But it's a touchback, and the Cowboys will get the football at the 20-yard line.
I'll tell you, there's a player right there, Vince Papale. He's
Gotta love it,
everybody's
right?
hero. He's everybody's hero in Philadelphia. This is the guy that made good. It was a nobody. Came from no place. Puts out 110%. Last week, he was a key to their win over Washington. He was down on a punt coverage and knocked the ball loose so that the Washington couldn't have a chance in that last closing minutes of the ball game to, get another score on the
They
board.
released him early, didn't they?
Yeah.
They picked him up again.
And he told me on the plane, he says, you really don't appreciate it until you're away from it. The football's been good to me, he said.
1st and 10 for the Cowboys. Tony Dorsett takes the handoff from Roger Staubach, and Dorsett is stopped behind the line by that swarming Eagles defense. They nail him at the 16-yard line. 4th period score for you, Kansas City and Cleveland. Oh, that's a little bit of an upset.
That is Mr. Sam Latigliano in Cleveland. He started off the season great, sort of died like they did last year. I guess the Browns were leading the division halfway through the season last year. They came up in the short end, losing about their last 5 or 6 ball games in a row.
Cowboys trying to run the clock down, but they're going to need some first downs to do it. 2nd down. They need 12 now for the first. Ball is at the 18-yard line. 4 minutes, 45 seconds and counting. Dallas leading 14-7. On the delay, it is Newhouse to the 20, 25, Newhouse to the 30, 35. Out of bounds at the 42-yard line. First down. Robert Newhouse, who seems to have some of his better days against the Philadelphia Eagles. Good call.
I'll tell you one thing, that was a great call. They draw up the middle. They wanted to keep the ball on the ground, eat up the clock. But Philadelphia wasn't expecting to pick up about 30 yards on the play. Give it to the little man, let him go.
That's a very, very big first down. Newhouse now the leading rusher in the ballgame. Dorsett has been held to 21 yards and 6 carries. Newhouse now has 67 and 12 carries. Dorsett over the right side out to the 45-yard line. Got a couple. And Berge, number 66, leading the charge. Last year, Berge and Dorsett got into a pretty good jawing match, as I recall.
I'd say yes, sir. As small as
Yes,
Dorsett,
Mr. Berge, huh?
As small as
Anything you say,
Dorsett is.
Mr. Berge.
That's right. Let me tell you. I used to do that every once in a while. You sort of start mouthing off to one of these big linemen. Boy, then you stand up and look at him, and he's about 4 or 5 inches bigger than you are, and about outweighs you by 50. That's no match.
Change your mind, huh? 2nd down, 7. Cowboys at their 45-yard line. 3 minutes, 55 seconds left to play in the game. Dallas leading 14-7. Tony Hill in motion. Staubach to throw it. Gonna keep it. Runs out of bounds at midfield. He got 5. A little bit short of the first down. They needed to get to the Eagle 48 to pick up the first. That will set up 3rd down and about 2 needed for the first down. Staubach put his name in the Cowboy record books in another category this afternoon. His first pass attempt of the day moved him by Don Meredith for most passes attempted by a Dallas Cowboy career.
Well, I think he'll keep that thing going for a few more years.
Well, he's going to have them all.
He'll have them all here, that's right.
3rd down, 2. The hand is for Newhouse, who comes out of the ball game. And so does Dorsett.
All right, watch Mr. Pearson go right up over the top.
Preston Pearson is the only setback there with Staubach.
Oh.
Sideline throw to Tony Hill. Can't hold it.
Oh. Wow. That's a gutty call.
Big 3rd down play, which means that Dallas will have to give it back to the Eagles with 3:38 left on the clock. A lot of time for things to happen.
And as they come off that field, you can see the Eagles. Frank LeMaster tell them, don't make any mistakes. Don't be offside. Right now, you can't have any mistakes. They need that ball back. Let's see what Jaworski can do with it when he comes on the field.
Danny White, who's been kicking that ball almost through the hole in the roof. He's hung those punts so high today. Shera is deep. Big rush. Angling for the far sideline. Shera makes the catch at the 16 and is popped out of bounds immediately by Benny Barnes. I tell you, Barnes is so consistently down there.
Well, he's got
Tom Landry calls him the best specialty team player in the league.
He's got that great speed.
First and 10 from the 16-yard line. Eagles 84 yards away from tying it up. 3:31 left in the game. Franklin and Montgomery are the setbacks behind Jaworski. Little razzle-dazzle here as Montgomery starts to his right, goes back to his left, is dropped at the 18. There was a penalty marker at the line of scrimmage.
Offsides Dallas. A break for Philadelphia again.
That's got to be at least 4 times that the Cowboys have been flagged for offside.
Oh, they must be lining up.
Had a final in that Kansas City-Cleveland game. Big upset there as the Chiefs beat Cleveland.
You know, I did the first game at Cleveland, and I said, boy, they have a good young ball club
Number
up there.
63 on the defense, offside.
Seems to be different guys, though, offside every time. They got Cole that time. Larry Cole got too tall. They've had Randy White offside before. First and 5.
Officials have been doing a great job in the game, though. They really have.
Eagles at their 21-yard line, trailing 14-7. 3:21 left in the contest. Cleveland Franklin out to the 24 for a pickup of 3. That's not going to get it, though.
No way. They've got to come up. He's got a first down. You know, he's got to come up throwing that ball.
Eagles have all of their timeouts left, which will become a factor, I'm sure, as we go along.
We're down to 3 minutes right now. We've got an injury on the field here. He's got to come out of the ball game if they call that timeout.
It's Franklin who is shaken up. Now, they've already lost Hogan. And on comes James Betterson. I don't know what Franklin's problem is. Second-year player, pretty good football player, and they think he's got a great future.
He's got good size. He's 6'2", 216. He's from Baylor, right down here. You know, his draft.
Vermeil. Vermeil's about your age, isn't he? How come you look so out of shape now? He still looks in
Yeah, he
shape.
gets to work out every day.
That's
Don't you
true.
know that? I hear that you're doing something special down here in the trying to lose some weight yourself.
Well, we have worked out a little deal, as a matter of fact.
Is that right?
Uh-huh.
A little aerobic dancing or something?
No, not aerobic dancing. You've heard of the aerobic center here in Dallas. But they have volunteered to take me on as a hopeless case. Sort of. Anyway, but it's interesting. I think it's going to be fun.
I tell you
And
what,
I figure if I can do it, anybody can do it.
that's right.
What do you mean that's right?
If you can do it, maybe I'll do it.
All right. Now Franklin's still being tended to. Time is out down in the field with 3 minutes and 3 seconds left to play in the football game. The Cowboys leading the Eagles by a score of 14-7. And Franklin's going to have to leave. So Cleveland Franklin, who played his college football at Waco, Baylor University, is 90 miles down the road, coming back home for the weekend.
He had a lot of people over there rooting for him this morning at the hotel.
Those were Baylor fans celebrating their team's first victory this year. They were 0-5, and they beat Texas A&M yesterday.
That was a big upset.
All right, second down. Eagles need 2 for the first down. Ball is at the Philadelphia 24 with 2 minutes 45 seconds left to play in the football game. Well, again, we get a whistle. Illegal procedure against Philadelphia. Someone caused Larry Cole to jump that time. Now, that's a big play because instead of 2nd and 2, now you're looking at 2nd and 7 again.
No question about it, boy. Jaworski's upset about it.
Maybe it's his cadence that's causing a little problem there for the Cowboys.
He's trying to draw him off sides. You can see him barking and snapping that head.
Ball start, number 7, head bob.
How do you like that?
That's what he was doing.
That's exactly right.
You can't do that, right? Violently move your head?
Right, so you're trying to draw that defensive team off sides, and he was really snapping his head around. He's mad at himself. Boy, he's got to come up now. 2nd and 7. He's got to come up with a big play right here.
The clock, of course, a big factor for the Eagles. 2 minutes, 40 seconds left to play in the game. But they're still not out of it. Here's Jaworski putting it upstairs. Got Ken Payne for the first down. Benny Barnes drags him down at the 30, but Philadelphia has the first down.
Well, let's hurry up, you guys. Come on, line up if you want to get the offense moving. Don't stand around. That clock is ticking away. All right, you'll see Payne guys on the outside. Jaworski setting up, split back blocking. Both the backs flaring to the outside. Draws those linebackers to the outside. You can see him going outside, and the ball is perfectly thrown in there to Payne. First down.
Back to live action we go. Philadelphia, 1st and 10 from their 32-yard line. This will be the last play before the 2-minute warning. Good protection for Jaworski. Over the middle, Carmichael can't reach it. And he ran into Captain Crash. Cliff Harris, number 43 of the Cowboys, at the 50-yard line. Pass just slightly overthrown. 2-minute warning. Goes to both benches. We'll be back with the finish shortly. Our producer today at Texas Stadium, Bob Rolls. And our director is Jim Silman. Associate producer Ed Shellhorn from the local CBS affiliate, KDFW. And those are some of their fine people who have worked with us not only today but down through the years on Cowboy telecasts. Eagles have 2 timeouts left. I recall they used one earlier. That could come back to haunt them. 1:55 left in the game. Philadelphia with a 2nd down. 10. Ball is at their 31-yard line. They trail 14-7. Ron Jaworski's going to have to put it up. Cole chasing him. Gets away from Cole. Randy White's after him. And White's got him. Lost the ball. He was down. Jaworski was down at the 23.
Boy, does that put the pressure on Philadelphia right now. 3rd down, long yardage.
Ron Jaworski under a lot of pressure. First of all from Larry Cole, number 63. And then from Randy White. Now, he can get away from Cole, who is on at 50 years, but not Mr. White, who is as young and limber as is Jaworski.
There he goes right there. Jaworski running around that backfield. But watch Randy White up in the top of your picture right there. Brings him on down. He was down. As soon as that ball touches, the ball is dead. But this is 3rd down, long yardage.
To be precise, 3rd and 19. The Eagles got to have it. 1:24. Clock is moving. Over the middle for Payne. Incomplete and intercepted by Aaron Kyle. Kyle at the 50. Down to the 40. Kyle to the 30. Aaron Kyle may go all the way. Gets a block from Henderson on Jaworski. He scores. However, hold everything. They're going to bring it back to the 50-yard line. And the crowd is booing mightily. One of the officials signaled a clean interception, but he may have signaled at the same time that though the ball was intercepted, Kyle was down because he was in contact with Payne. That'll be interesting to look at again because that ball was bounced around in the air. Several people touched it.
Again, we'll be able to see the action right here. Jaworski sets up. See Payne down the middle. He's open for a minute there, but the ball pounces up. And as long as the man is touching him, as you can see him right in the middle of the screen, when he's down on the ground, the ball is dead. They're calling the whole play. The ball must have hit the ground and bounced up into his lap.
Looks like that'll be the call, an incompleted forward pass, which would set up 4th down and 19. Now let's see what happens. We'll slow it down as the ball gets there.
And you'll be able to see right here, as the ball goes up.
That's Payne. Now he's got it.
He's got it. He's hit right there. The ball bounces back right up in the air. And watch where it lands. Right on the ground. There it goes. It hits the ground and bounces back up. A good call by the official.
It did hit the ground before Kyle picked it up. So the call is an incompleted forward pass. And since there is no tomorrow with 1:06 to go and 4th and 19, the Eagles are going to go for it, even though they're back in their 23. Jaworski gets an official timeout because the crowd is so loud he can't be heard. That's the biggest rise out of a Texas Stadium crowd, I think, all season. Normally, this is a very tame crowd compared to some of the other arenas throughout the NFL.
Come to Baltimore sometime.
Eagles have to have it here. 4th down and 19. They have to get to the 42 for the first down. Jaworski retreats. Good protection. Krepley at the 45. Krepley at the 50-yard line and out of bounds to stop the clock at midfield. We got a flag back at the line of scrimmage.
That can only mean one thing. No, it doesn't either.
Well, let's see.
Jaworski is excited. He's walking up towards the line of scrimmage. Here he is right now. He's setting up, and he rolls to the weak side. Beautiful throw.
Going to be offside, Dallas.
He climbs. And the big tight end makes another clutch catch. Gets out of bounds to stop that clock with 58 seconds remaining.
So that will give the Eagles a first down at the Dallas 49-yard line with 58 seconds to go. They trail 14-7. They get out of the big hole on 4th down 19. Fans are still booing over that call. Payne to the right side, Carmichael to the left, and again the booing is so strong that Jaworski can't call a signal, so he gets the automatic official timeout. Calls the Eagles back into the huddle, but you know when they come out, they're going to give more of the same, right?
You got the crowd fired up right now, let me tell you. Here it comes. This is not only penalizing the Eagles, but it's penalizing the defense of Dallas because they're making their calls on the field.
1st and 10 for the Eagles at the Dallas 49. Dallas leading 14-7, 58 seconds left. Jaworski back to throw. Too tall Jones missed him. Jaworski rolling to his right. Randy White has him. Loss of 3. Back to the Eagle 48-yard line. Well, Tom Landry said Randy White's got intensity. I guess you saw an example of that intensity right there as he refused to be beaten and chased Jaworski all the way across the field to the near sideline. Only good thing about that from Philadelphia's standpoint is that it stopped the clock with 51 seconds.
Got an update on that Seattle-Oakland game. Seattle's taken another touchdown, so they're up 14-0 over Oakland.
They can score.
Get that southpaw out there throwing that ball. 51 seconds.
Nail-biting finish here at Texas Stadium between the Cowboys and the Eagles. Dallas with a victory moves into a tie for first place with the Redskins in the NFC East. They were beaten by the Giants today. Philadelphia with a win could move into a tie for second with Dallas and with the Giants. Again, Jaworski over the middle and over. Nope.
To the big tight end again. Big catch. First down.
Krepley at the 39-yard line. Looks like it's just enough for the first down. Eagles call time. Now that should leave them with 1.
You know, their tight end has come up with some big catches today.
Timeout call here with 41 seconds left to play, and the Cowboys leading 14-7. That number 41 remind you of anything?
Ah, the old Dogs number 41.
Yes, sir. Timeouts remaining. Philadelphia 1. Let's set the stage for you again. Eagles trail by 7. They have a first down at the Dallas 39-yard line. 41 seconds left to play. Krepley has now caught 4 for a total of 100 yards, averaging 25 yards a catch. Carmichael to the right side, Payne in the slot inside of him as Jaworski calls the signals. Deep drop. Too tall Jones has it. Intentional grounding against Jaworski, and he is hot, and Vermeil is going to get a unsportsmanlike conduct penalty because he came out 5 yards on the field, and one of the officials threw a flag at him.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I think Jaworski might have done it, but there was a man right in the area right there.
Let's talk about that rule a little bit. The question in the minds of the official is what was the intent of the passer, not who was around or how close was the intended receiver.
No question about what he was trying to do. But he got hit as he was throwing the ball right there. But it's...
The walk-off moves it back to the 49-yard line. Intentional grounding is the call.
And loss of down.
That's a big factor, the loss of down again.
Let's see if they're going to tack more on because of Vermeil.
Yeah, here's the 15 for Vermeil now. That's going to move it back to the 35-yard line of Philadelphia. The 36 is where Red Cashin, the official, puts it down. Here's the call.
Unsportsmanlike conduct on the bench.
Vermeil came out 5 yards on the field and was really jawing with one of the officials and got the flag dropped on him.
Wow.
Boy, that's some play. You start at the Dallas 39 and you wound up back at your own 36.
25 yards.
That's a 25-yard minus in the Philadelphia statistical total, plus loss of down. So it's now 2nd and 10. There's Vermeil. He's still hot. Second down and 35, if you can believe it. Eagles from their own 36-yard line. That'll be a very controversial play, I'm sure, after this ball game is over. Jaworski chased by Randy White. White's got him. Gets rid of the ball. Pedersen caught by Bethea at the 39. They gain 5.
Timeout called out by Jaworski.
That's all now. That's the last timeout that the Philadelphia Eagles have. 25 seconds left to play, and they're still back on their own 40-yard line, so about the only recourse they got now is the old alley-oop. We'll be back at Texas Stadium momentarily. Eagles have a 3rd and 32 from their own 40-yard line, and just 25 seconds left and no timeouts. I would have to say they're in deep trouble at this point.
Oh, boy, unless they can come up with a miracle right now. But let me tell you one thing. This is a fighting, scrapping young team, and don't count them out. They're going to win a lot of ball games this year.
They stay after you, no question about it. They're still in there fighting, scrapping, trying to get that touchdown to tie up this ball game, possibly send it into overtime. Jaworski in deep trouble. Too tall Jones caves in on him back at the 32-yard line. That should just about do it. However, they'll stop the clock, of course, since he was dumped back there. As soon as all the receivers get back into the huddle, that clock's going to start moving. And Jaworski's ready to go, so he's signaling for the guys to get up there. No huddle this time. How many 4th and 40 plays do you have in your playbook, Coach?
This is run down. I'm throwing it up in the air. Go for it. I'd send everybody toward the middle of the field and throw it up in the air. Or the sideline, really.
Randy White all over Jaworski, gets rid of the ball. That one's deflected by Cliff Harris, intended for Payne at the 40-yard line of the Dallas Cowboys. Leaves 6 seconds left on the clock. Well, I imagine they're going to be talking about that intentional grounding call all day tomorrow, right?
Yeah, they sure are. He could have thrown that ball up